Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. It's your guy, Scott. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barberchair Scott. Follow the Barberchair Network at Barberchair Net on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barberchair Network. Man, we appreciate everybody who still kept their subscription. There's a new episode of Summer Sessions that is up right now. So check all of that out, man. Let's get into what our rundown we've got here today. We're gonna start off with my sound off in a minute. We've got Jason Goff from NBC SportsNet. He will be joining me in just a couple minutes, man. Then I will be bringing the crew on, and we're gonna get into all the craziness that's been going on in the sports world. And then, of course, in the second hour, we will talk about all the bullshit that's been going on in Chicago sports world, man. So that's what we got for y'all today. I'm going to lead this off with my sound off for the day, and this one is for one Colin Kaepernick. Now, I just want to say this about Cap. I am a massive supporter of his. I appreciate everything he's done, and anybody who covers any Clippers games or Bears games, they know I don't stand for the fucking anthem. I don't. I support everything my man does, but sometimes at the end of everything, you gotta know when it's over, boss. And I don't need to be seeing letters on J. Cole's social media to be asking you to beg to come play for the Jets. It's just a wrap. And also, we need people to stop throwing other quarterbacks in there. Like, yes, we know Trevor Siemian sucks. Trevor Siemian was on the Bears last year. I've seen this dude live in person. He's garbage. We don't know if Cap still has or not, but what I do know is that Cap has not picked up a football in an actual NFL game in about 7 years. So I just kind of want this whole situation to fade away whenever there's some new quarterback situation. It's kind of like when somebody needs a backup point guard in the NBA, and then all of a sudden Isaiah Thomas comes up and pops up out of nowhere. It's got to stop, man. Obviously, Cap got paid a lot of money because the NFL has yet to announce how much he actually got paid in that settlement. He got a big check from Netflix over that special he did. So Cap is living pretty good, man. Now, of course, I know money ain't got nothing to do with the game that you love to play, but I also think it's unrealistic that you think an owner like Woody Johnson, who was 100% a Trump supporter, a guy who called NFL players sons of bitches for standing down for the national anthem. I just think it's just kind of pointless. And I just don't want to see J. Cole in like random shit. Like we already see him courtside of Heat games. You know the story about him and old boy from the Heat. Like it's just like, go away, man. So I like Cap. I'm just tired of hearing this every couple of times. There's a quarterback that needs to be filled in a certain position, man. So that's my sound off for the day. But we're gonna start this off with my guest for today, man. We're gonna bring in the one and only Jason Goff, man. Jason, what's going on, bro?
What's up, bro? How can you hear me? Everything
yes,
good?
Yes, I can hear you. You are good. You're good and clear, yeah.
Everything good, man. How are you?
I am doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good amidst all the chaos in Chicago sports right now. But for those of you who don't know, this is Jason Goff, man. He is the pre and post host for the Chicago Bulls on NBC SportsNet, and he is also host of his own podcast, The Full Go, on the Ringer Network right now. Lot of things going on in the sports world. Before we get into the craziness of Chicago sports, I want to talk about the big trade that happened in the NBA this week. Damian Lillard going to the Milwaukee Bucks, which came pretty much out of nowhere this week. Of course, we all know how that affects everything. But what was your initial reaction to Dame going to the Bucks and just this whole saga, how it went about?
I mean, you find out how much of the man you are and you aren't in certain points in your career. And for 12 years, Damian Lillard was the man in Portland, but it just didn't amount to as much winning as we expect his caliber or his stature of player. And that's why, and this is probably off the beaten path, but you got to marvel at the fact that building your team around a 6'3" and under player and looking at it historically throughout the years of the NBA, how much success teams have been able to have with that, and whether it's limited or capped or whatever the case may be. Like Allen Iverson taking that team to the finals is amazing. Isaiah Thomas, for everything that people don't like about Isaiah Thomas,
Right.
he was far and away the best player on a team as small as he was, and taking down giants in the league, literally, right? So, and then you get to Steph Curry in this age where, say what you want, Steph not only changed the game, but he was the best player on a team at that size. When you have a player that size, sometimes it's capped, and I think Damian Lillard realized that at the end here. And the problem, I won't say the problem, but the most interesting thing I think about this is finding out that you're not LeBron, you're not Kevin Durant, you're not some of these guys who can press that button and find themselves in the environment that they want to be in. Now, Portland being as spiteful or petty, whatever you want to call it, as they were, and how we found out, Chris Haynes, who was on that beat before Chris blew up to, be the national correspondent that he is. Chris Haynes was covering Portland and Damian Lillard for years. So him having the inside track to that information, and Damian saying, this is what happened. Things fell through. I wanted to come back. They told me don't come back. You found out that in that instance, you weren't the man. The moment they drafted Scoot Henderson, the Jeremy Grant signing was a little, I won't say questionable, but it was like, so what are y'all doing? Is this a rolling rebuild, or are you starting it all the way over? And the fact that they got the package that they got for Damian Lillard tells you that this wasn't about the team getting better or the organization getting better. This was about sending a message to a guy who, they thought they nurtured and developed over the first 10, 11 years of his career. So it was a little shocking. And it's shocking also because, Giannis Antetokounmpo now has done this for the third time.
Yes.
Where, he barks a little bit and all of a sudden the point guard got to go. And whether it be Eric Bledsoe and now Drew Holiday, Giannis looking around and seeing what Jimmy did to Drew in that postseason, that matters. And on top of it, where can I get 40 from when I'm getting trapped or when my ankle gives out on me? Like, who can I lean on? And now that Chris Middleton has suffered his injury issues, that Giannis Antetokounmpo cares about winning. And when stars start starring, you got to listen, or else you're going to be on the wrong side of the equation.
Yeah, we said that on the show last week. Shout out J.R. Bain, shout out Mikey. He'll be on in a couple minutes. I said last week to the Giannis thing was kind of like when your girl starts bringing up shit that you don't do, like randomly. You just like, yo, like what's going on? Like I was like, put Giannis first. Put Giannis first before he leave you and do some other stuff. And obviously that's what Milwaukee did. And what I also like,
it was even worse than when she bring up shit that you are doing. That's right, when exactly. You're in trouble. forget what you're not doing, part. When she start detailing and itemizing exactly what you are doing, it's like, all right, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and do this laundry real quick. Then I guess let me
go and wash this dish real quick.
Right. You already know.
That's probably what they had right there, but they listened to him, and now you have Damian Lillard. Now I think here. If you look at like the power dynamics of like really more of the Eastern Conference, because West is the West, that's really unpredictable every year. I think the Lakers had a great offseason. Denver didn't really lose anybody of substance. I think that's going to be a battle over there. But with the Eastern Conference, I kind of feel like this maybe makes them the favorite. What do you think that this kind of takes? Because it's kind of a weird situation where the Bucks were already a favorite. Do you think it makes them overwhelming with Dame? Or what do you think about how it changes the Bucks' trajectory?
They should come out of the East, and the issues, if they don't come out of the East, they'll be present, right? It'll be health.
Yeah.
It'll be health. It'll be a new coach. It'll be also their bench, right? Like the whole big three thing, if you notice, teams aren't really trying to do that as much anymore. Yeah. It's just like a big 2, medium 5 kind of vibe going on out there. I mean,
a big 2.5. Yeah.
Right? Look at Denver, right? Aaron Gordon had the weight of the world on his shoulders in Orlando. And the moment he was slotted correctly, he came to fruition as the kind of player that they thought he could be coming out of Arizona, right? So it's like you can get your big 3 together, but the days of throwing Joel Anthony and Mario Chalmers as the other 2 guys and say we can go win a championship those days I think are long gone, especially with the way the cap is being punitive in your roster composition. So if you're looking at the Bucks right now, you say, okay, I got to worry about the best pick and roll, one of the best pick and roll players in the modern generation. And then I got to worry about Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is top 3, top 4 when he's healthy. And then I got a guy who, when he's healthy, can knock down big shots in big games, but they're going to have to be on the court a lot.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be on the court a lot. So now you got to figure out, okay, how many games really matter in the regular season for us now with the whole load management rules that are coming into play. Like they should come out of the Eastern Conference. They should.
Yeah.
With everything that's happened with Philly and all these other squads with Boston, we don't know what they're going to look like now that a guy like Marcus Smart, who is the extension of the coach, like the dude,
the heart and soul of that team.
Every good team need a collar snatcher. Every good team need an asshole. So once you get that guy off your team, then what? They got 2 of those guys. Like this whole Boston thing's gonna be interesting because Grant Williams and Marcus Smart kind of played the same role.
Forgot about Grant's in Dallas. Yeah.
Hey, you need somebody to keep dudes off your dudes. And on top of it, you need somebody when things ain't going the way it's supposed to. Yeah, I'm going to get a tech for no reason. I'm going to embarrass everybody out here because it ain't going the way it's supposed to go. Now, you replace that with Kristaps Porzingis energy. So now you're relying on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to be the next level leaders that they can be or you hope they can be, but now you can't wait on it, right? Because Marcus Smart and Grant Williams like that. So the Eastern Conference is topsy-turvy. Miami, they don't care about the regular season, so what does that matter? Cleveland's going to have to get ready to break up these 2 big men, right, at some point here because you're going to have to pay the other one. Evan Mobley's going to have to get
exactly. Either one got to get his bread.
And, and it's about the moves you don't make too, man, because take a look at it. The Knicks messed around and looked Donovan Mitchell squarely in the eye and said, we can't give up that much for you, and then beat him in the postseason, handed him.
Yep.
So it's like, the Eastern Conference is a whole bunch of fun storylines, a whole bunch of silliness going. It's much like the NFC, in football, where it's like you got all the quarterbacks in the AFC, and then you got the NFC trying to figure it out. But we know
who's
in
the
the
best
end,
ones, right?
Yeah, exactly. We know in the end, all right, Philadelphia, come on through, right? San Francisco, come on through. Like they're gonna be good enough to. I'd probably be in the top 3, obviously, because regular season talent's going to shine, but it's about how they're going to be rested and how they're going to be managed because Milwaukee now, especially with Damian Lillard, they don't care about winning on the road. So will I see them as the best team coming out of the East? They're supposed to, talent-wise, but regular season, I won't be scared if they're, 3rd or 4th in the East because it's going to take time, too. It's going to take time.
Superstar league, as long as you got the guys on your team, it kind of doesn't matter where home court is at. And I think we saw that this year.
And we're going to have to figure out, this is the first time we're going to see Damian Lillard as not the man. Even when he got there with LaMarcus Aldridge, part of LaMarcus Aldridge going to San Antonio was like, this dude got this. And everybody in this organization understood it and looked at him and was like, all right, man, you got it. Like we bumped our head a little bit with LaMarcus Aldridge. There's a capped ceiling with that, a damn good player. Don't get me all-star, like 2010 guy, right? But it was a limited ceiling.
There's only so much he could do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's like DeAndre Ayton, part of this trade. Like DeAndre Ayton is 2010, 20 and 10, number 1 pick overall. And we talk about, he needs a new lease on life, a change of scenery. He's gonna be whoever he is at the next spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop and don't act. People waiting for DeAndre Ayton to become Shaq or something like.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, just let him be as good as he's gonna be, right? Like, Karl-Anthony Towns is who he is. Like these guys, water always gonna find its level. Yeah. So whether you got a hole down here or a hole up here in the cup, it's gonna find its level. And at some point, you got to realize maybe it's you with the outsized expectations.
Yeah, I even think I saw that the video the Blazers posted, and it looked like DeAndre Act like he got out of prison, which is quite hilarious, and it just kind of tells you just how much he hated Phoenix.
hey, so a little change of scenery. You can change that phone number up. You got a new flock, in the Pacific Northwest that you can start poaching from. It's a good time to be DeAndre. Good time.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's move on to the sad state of affairs in the Chicago sports area. First of all, before we get to the mess that is the Bears, we're talking about the NBA. Bull season is about to start off. Media day is next week. From your perspective, now I know AK just spoke, I think it was like a day or two ago. I didn't see it because I've kind of tuned them out. Like it's kind of like even Blues press conferences at this point. And the most shocking thing that I did see tweeted out was he didn't expect the offense to be that bad, which was funny. But with the additions of a Javon Carter, of a Torrey Craig, the Zach LaVine trade rumors being arrested. What are you expecting from the Bulls? Now I know we had you on my Bulls podcast last year. Like, is there anything that's much different from a year ago that you think about this team, or the same thing?
I mean, the principal characters are the same, but it's how will they perform, right? Like DeMar DeRozan at the end of last year, we saw DeMar DeRozan wear down injury-wise, right? Like DeMar has always been a cat that no matter what he was going to play, it's one of the tougher dudes in the league. But year 13, year 14, the things that happen to you are getting ready to happen. So
things break down.
And I think this team has a simple math problem, man. They don't take enough threes. And for everybody out there, well, you just want them to throw up more threes? No. I mean, the profile of how they play offensively has to change. They got to play faster. They have to play faster. And the problem is two of the three guys that are their principal offensive producers aren't pace players.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're not a pace player, that means you got to find threes somewhere else. And if you're not finding those threes somewhere else, you have to protect that arc like nobody's business. So the simple math equation won't come out on the wrong side, more times than not. That's why with this talent, they've hovered around the same win total over the last couple of years as well, because you're playing an uphill game every night if you're not taking at least 33, 32, 33, 34 threes a game, because teams who get a chance to run and do it, they're finding threes on the break. Like fast breaks now have become fast threes. So it's
exactly.
If you it's all like, I don't mean it's all nerdy basketball shit, but like when we take a look at it, the Bulls don't hit the offensive glass, right? Nope. So that you've always got people back. So sometimes that defensive efficiency can be a little bit misleading, because if I've always got people back and I'm going to stop you because I'm not taking the ball out of the, you're not taking the ball out of the net, and I got people back. Well, that's limiting also the fact that those offensive rebounding opportunities, the 3 or 4 that might lead to 6, 7 extra points, that affects the bottom line. So if I'm always back and we're not taking any threes, the equation is kind of jacked up. Then you put yourself in a position that you have to play as efficient as you possibly can in the half court and the mid range, which is where DeMar DeRozan and
what DeMar lives. What makes money.
Yeah. So it's like you have to be damn near perfect every night offensively with that equation. So if something's going to change and you have the same players, I like to see Patrick Williams get the ball off the glass and run. It's the only way.
I like to see him do anything.
Well, it's the thing. It's the thing. We keep waiting. Like I'm hearing people say, like Arturo said, our young guys got to play better. Like we know we're getting out of Zach, we know we're getting out of Vooch, we know we're getting out of DeMar. Our young guys got to play better. Well, young guys also got to feel like they're a part of it too.
Yep.
And Kobe White, Patrick Williams, Ayo Dosunmu, some of these other guys, like you have a 10-man rotation. You've got 5 guards that you have to play. Like you've got one wing who could also play the 4. Like there's so many different responsibilities. And on top of it, hey man, when you get the ball, can you shoot it every single time? Like that's why you see Kobe White and Patrick Williams kind of at a crossroads right now, like one going one way seemingly and the other one being a little bit more neutral or stagnant than the other one, was because Kobe White understands that when I got the ball now, I either have to be the reason why we get in the basket, or I got to be the guy taking the shot, because to ask that much of these young dudes, and it's expected because they're getting paid, right? Like they're NBA players.
Kobe just got a new contract.
Yeah. You getting this much leeway in the offense. You got to take it, right? So it's not only on everybody else making sure that these young dudes are playing the style that they want to play, because when they're in there, they want to run, right? And if you're not taking the ball off the rim and DeMar's getting it, well, you got to get to your spot on the court now. It's half court game. So if he's the main decision maker more times than not, then there's a certain pace that you are going to be forced to play. Like in a perfect world for me, and I thought this midway through last year, like when you give a guy a max contract, it's time for you to allow the game to show him what he can and can't do. Like it's time to, hey, DeMar, half of these possessions where you take it off the rim and you dribble it up, hey, look for 8 or let 8 take it off. Like I want to see the things now. You work hard and we see it. The issue is I think they have so much respect for each other that, one man.
They're scared to butt heads.
Not even scared. It's they both know why they're there. Like they both know what got them there. Like it's like when you hear people talk about coaches, right? And you hear somebody go, "Why is this coach running this defense there?" Well, shit, this is what got him hired. Right? Like this is, you know what I'm saying? Like this is like all of a sudden you're gonna go home like, "Hey, baby, we gotta run a 3-4 because this coach getting my ass."
We gotta switch it up now.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, but baby, you don't know how to teach that. Shut up, goddammit. We gotta run this. We gotta figure this out. You know?
I didn't ask all that.
Right. At this point in DeMar's career, you're like, hey, we need you to take it back to the San Antonio.
Yeah.
DeMar with a bunch of young kids and in a building culture. And you're like, wait a minute, though. I done told everybody in the league that I was the man and y'all should have signed me. And these last 2 years of proving that, it's kind of hard to come off that. If you Zach, it's kind of hard to go play with Team USA, be around the best in the world and have them be like, yo, you cold. Like, you pretty dope. Like, all the shit that we've heard about you,
it's valid.
And then you come back to the crib and you're like, hey, man, I am pretty dope. Like, you know what I mean? You start looking around at the locker room like, guess who I'm better than? And I'm not saying that's what he did, but I'm just saying it's like you got two guys who have proven their worth in the NBA, and it's up to one of them to say, all right, this is obviously not working.
Yeah.
Like you go from 46 wins to 40 wins. And the Lonzo Ball piece has been removed long enough that that is the outlier now. Yeah. You've got enough raw data for a year and a half with this group. What's going to change? So if the principal characters aren't changing, what are the characters going to do to change this thing? So now, and shout out to my man Casey Johnson. I read the piece on ABCSportsChicago.com about, using Vooch in a more Domantas Sabonis kind of role, and how Thad was when he was here, that elbow cutting off him and kicking it out and all those things. Cool. It sounds good. I want to see the application of it because you're getting to a point, and Vooch already said it. Like, I don't say anything that these dudes ain't saying. Vooch is like, yo, this is the last go round for this squad. Yeah. So if it's the last go round, is it the, hey man, you cold, I'm cold go round, or is it the let's prove something here and try to get some wins on the way out? So that's what this season will be for me, just seeing how those two guys' roles change, if at all, with the results being what they have been over the last year and a half as far as the offense is concerned. Because I can take this defense being, 9th, 10th,
middle of the road,
right, exactly. 11th in the league. I can't. The offense being at 24th in efficiency, and with the amount of threes they're not taking, you're setting yourself up for issues, man.
Definitely. I know you're on a time crunch, man. So okay, cool. Well, this is the thing about
10 more minutes.
Okay, perfect, cool. Because we're definitely gonna need 10 minutes to talk about these Chicago Bears. For the Bears, man, as I call this upcoming Sunday, I'm calling it the Huff Bowl between the Bears and the Broncos. I was there at Hallis Hall, the crazy Wednesday where everything went on.
Yeah, I was following you. Yeah, shout out to you for moving with some principles up there.
Oh, I appreciate you. Because there was a lot of food stuff going on.
Yeah, it was understood.
Reporting wise.
No, trust me, it was very apparent who was moving the way they were supposed to.
Yeah. So like with everything going on, man, with Justin, and I kind of feel like even when we talked to him on Wednesday, like I know a lot of people said he looked broken, and that might be part of it, but I kind of feel like he was just tired of talking to the media, which I can understand. What's your whole opinion on just this whole mess that's going on? Do you think that there's a way that they could turn this around? Because there's 14 more games, or is it just cooked?
Yeah, I think this is it for Justin Fields, and it might have been it going into the season, man. I mean, when you and I talked about this on my pod, that they dropped this morning, last night, whenever you get it. I didn't need Peter King to tell me that there hasn't been a heavy investment in Justin Fields since the moment he was drafted. You know, you look at how Matt Nagy handled the situation, and then you pass that situation off to a defensive coordinator who's a first-time head coach and an offensive play caller who's never called plays on this level before. You know, the year before that, the year before that, obviously Matt Nagy and the Andy Dalton thing, and going through that and seemingly putting him in an offense to show the Bears brass in the front office that, hey, this kid can't play, and I told you so, because that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. Then you move on. You hand him over to a defensive coordinator and a guy who's never called plays on the NFL level before. And then you do that behind a line that was as bad as we've seen. We've seen some bad lines in this city, right?
Man.
So you do that with a line as bad as they were, and then you don't give him any wide receivers, really, outside of Darnell Mooney and a couple of guys. Like Equinemius St. Brown did exactly what he was supposed to do, right? He played to the best of his abilities. But there is no throwaway year on a rookie contract for a quarterback that you care about. There is none. So when I was saying this, and everybody was like, Ryan Poles he's doing what he's supposed to do. They're trying to get the number one pick. And I'm like, wait, I thought it was finding out if the person taking snaps from center is the one to go forward. Because then you have a much better evaluation of what exactly it is that you need. So from the moment that happened, I was like, oh, okay, this is a split building. And I've thought that ever since. And I said it ever since. And these last couple of weeks, apparently, the football gods have graced us with voices from heaven of guys who've been fired from this organization before, and national reporters who only come on down when the shit is hitting the fan. If you've been listening, if you've been reading, if you've been, watching come on, dog. Like,
I've seen all the whole rollout.
Does it look like a nurturing environment?
No,
it doesn't. And there's no two ways about it. So it's possible. I don't believe it's that he can't play, but it's possible. Okay, say he can't play, then what? It's just you just throw him on the pile of quarterbacks that we have rooted for, thought was going to be good, and turned out not to be good. So, and then within this close proximity of each other, usually you get that veteran stopgap in between where it's like, okay, this is requisite quarterback play. You went from Mitchell Trubisky to this. So both of these dudes, you had one who performed at a high level in two different conferences that are noted in the SEC and Big Ten. And then the other guy was like, oh, he didn't have enough starts. He's still one-on-one class.
He's a project.
Right. So the organization, forget the regime, forget the front office, the organization, the franchise itself has had two of these within close proximity of each other, and both of them have failed. At what point are we going to act like maybe, just maybe, it's the people who are doing the hiring? Like Ryan Poles, the moment he did the whole taking the North and all that other, I was like, all right, man, like
I'm tired of hearing this.
No, we can't wait. We can't wait. Like Bears fans are like, like you ever, well, I'm about to say, it's like going through, it's like going through the hood when you just got the new whip, you know what I mean? And you go through the hood.
You got a whole bunch of dudes on the
corner. Pull up. You just pull up. And you're like, take a look at me. You know what I mean? Well, all right, you shining to them, right? But
let me get that.
Right, you won't that too. but you won't do that to anybody who's living like that. Everything is shining to us as Bears fans. Yeah. Everything. Oh, wait, can't wait for this. Oh, this man said he gonna get the number one pick and tear this thing down to the studs. And guess what?
And we believe every word.
And guess what? This year's your payoff.
Yeah,
that's why that tank loss stuff and that sounds great for sports radio. That sounds amazing in like barbershop conversations where you got 35 minutes with a dude you ain't talking to for the next 6 days. When you have to walk around and I've talked to players about this, man. any team that is looking at 53 men who are giving life and limb and saying, yo,
we need
next
you to
year's
lose.
#1 pick, though?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we are. Oh, yeah?
Exactly.
Bet. Guess what's happening with this film time? Guess
Yeah.
what's happening with this training table that I'm supposed to be on? You know, hurrying up to get back. You watch this injury list over the next few weeks. Watch this injury list and see, you know, which 4 to 6 week injuries is taking 2 to 3. Because they take 2 to 3 sometimes when you win. They take that full 6.
Losing.
What?
He need an IR visit.
What? You kidding me? Hey, shit went from a sprained ankle to I'm pregnant. I think I might be out for a little bit.
Right.
So the whole Bears thing, like, it's bigger than Justin Fields. It's bigger than Nino Brown. It's bigger than everybody in that building. And now you got the issue of, because the Tyson Bagent conversation is starting.
That's
now.
gonna get louder. Yeah.
It was PJ Walker's one gig, man. He just had to keep that gig so he can keep people off Justin's back. But it's gonna get nasty. This is the How Much Do You Love Football Bowl coming up here on Sunday.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think, like, even like from when you said, like, you know, how it feels like in the building, like on Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? I kind of felt like the most juice that I felt in there was when the Damian Lillard trade went through, which tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. The locker room was going crazy when the Dame Lillard trade broke, and that was pretty much about it. And it just kind of felt like everybody was on there. Marshawn Lynch, I'm just here so I don't get fined. And so I've been a Bears fan my entire life, and I've seen a lot of bad rosters, but this to me is as worse as ever felt. Like, even Trestman took to like the end of his second season for it to get this bad. Like, it's gotten bad so quickly, and I do believe if they lose on Sunday, I don't think they might get fired. They lose on Sunday only because it's a short week. But if they lose,
fired, Scott.
Even if they go on 5, you don't think nobody's getting fired?
Scott, when's the last time a Bears coach got fired in the middle of the season?
Never.
So why you got to
what odds?
What FanDuel odds did you get on this one? That you think somebody gonna get fired this week? All right, what make you think some shit that ain't never happened before just gonna happen this week?
I'm trying to hold on to something. At this point, I've got nothing.
I seen you, because I watch. I seen you on Kevin Warren, and I'm gonna tell you right now, what house you walking into that you know is troubled, and you know you didn't have anything to do with it, and you just gonna start cleaning up the crib. What house are you, Scott? You done been over many people's raggedy ass cribs. You done walked in, and then be like, "Oh, this how y'all living?" You hold your shit real tight. You know, you make sure you shake it out after you leave, whatever the case may be. But never do you ever walk in there and start picking up and cleaning up. No. You wait till you got some steak. You wait till you got some ownership in that. He just got here 2 minutes ago. Y'all already bungled the Arlington Heights situation. I'm over here cleaning that up. You know, now I got to make it seem like we got suitors from all around the city. And on top of it, you want me to handle the football part? Man, I bet. Yeah. And my clock don't start until his is done anyway. We good. What's Kevin Warren out here like, hey, keep me out of this, fam.
I ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm going to be up here in this suite.
That's it. I'll get y'all the new place. I will get y'all I'm not cleaning up the old one. I will not clean up the old one. Shit.
Oh, man. Definitely, man. But that's pretty much all I wanted to get into with you today, man. I know you got a lot of stuff to do, man. I appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come speak with us. Let the people know they can get in tune with you, you know, your podcast, everything you got going on, bro.
And the Full Go on Spotify, brought to you by the good folks at The Ringer. Sunday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, we drop, or whenever there's an emergency podcast that is necessary. Of course, the basketball season is getting ready to start up again on NBC Sports Chicago. So me and Kendall and Will be back, you know, doing what we do this season on NBC Sports Chicago. First game is October 25th against the Thunder. We got preseason starting up. Like you mentioned, Media Day is on Monday. We got a season preview show coming up on Monday. So, hey, man, we back to work, man. Had to put the controllers down, you know what I mean? Had to shake off the summer, still smelling like summer a little bit, so had to shake that off. You know, had to come out here and detox and get ready to get back at it.
Get back to it.
Man, I appreciate you having me on too, by the way, brother. I know you've been chasing me for a little bit. A couple things happened, but I wanted to give you my time and also wanted to hang out with you. So I appreciate you having me,
I
bro.
appreciate that, bro. Definitely appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
I know with the NBA coverage is real fast, and I'm headed back to LA next week, getting ready for this
Okay.
Clippers season. Let's see if Kawhi and PG can stay healthy. You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go. Let's see if PG gonna be on the team. You know what I'm saying?
That too. We'll see how that goes, man.
Things might change.
Yeah, definitely, man. But I thank you, bro, for joining us, man.
Appreciate you, man. Anytime, brother.
Yes, sir. So we gonna go into our we gonna bring anybody else in right now. We gonna bring the crew in. Which we get into this coverage. We're gonna bring Courtney into. Courtney's on the time crunch. We gonna move the rundown up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We gonna start to talk about some football before we get into the NBA and talk about Damian Lillard. Man, what's going on, everybody?
Hi.
Decent, Brody. What's good?
What's the word?
I'm doing pretty good. Not gonna lie, I'm doing pretty good. So it's the weekend. I have nothing to do tomorrow, which is great. Which will be the last day for like a week that I have nothing to do. But I'm gonna enjoy that. Hopefully, we get a shootout with Colorado Buffaloes and USC tomorrow. Maybe looking at future Chicago Bear, Caleb Williams. Maybe not. But how's anything else for y'all going?
I'm decent, bro. You know, the Atlanta Braves, 6 straight division championships, clinched the first round. We locked and loaded. Today is Spencer Strider bobblehead night. So, it's all good. It's all love out here.
I ain't got nothing with football going on this weekend. Football and, I have this thing where I like to watch Antiques Roadshow when sports starts to stress me out too much because it's very low stakes. So, it might be another one of those weekends because I don't think I can watch the Rangers fumble this division again. I can't do it.
Did they win last night?
No. JP Crawford.
This Chapman blew another save.
Oh, man.
That's ugly. That's ugly.
Look, Dante. That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. Right.
Braves, that's unfortunate.
Braves about to sit all weekend, and he over here talking about that's unfortunate.
Yeah. But shout out to Braves for being good countrymen and doing what they need to do against the Cubs. This was a couple days ago, man. But let's get into some football. We will talk about the NBA later on in this hour. We're going to start with something that went on last night. First game of Week 4 between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. The Detroit Lions won 34-20. Jared Goff went 19-28, 210 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Former Bear David Montgomery, 32 carries, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns. And for the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love went 23 of 36, 246 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. This game was really not even as close to the score once you'd think it was. This is something where Packers tried that little fake comeback at the end, which would have 100% worked on the Bears, but didn't work on this team here as Dan Campbell punched them right back in the mouth and put them back in their place. There's 2 things I took from this game. One, the Detroit Lions are really for real, and they're going to get Jameson Williams back early because of the new change in the gambling rules that the NFL updated today. So he's going to be coming back, and that's going to be another addition to the already good offense. But the number one thing that I came from this is just how far the Chicago Bears are from actually competing in this division. That's what I got from that game. And it also, it's the first time I've seen the Packers primetime loss, and I couldn't get happy about it because, yes, Jordan Love is mid, and I think that is very evident right now. I think the Bears and the Saints should be ashamed for letting people think that he's decent. He's not. He sucks. But he looked like Dan Marino against the Chicago Bears, and that's everything I took from that. But the Lions look like they're ready to go. Dan Campbell is a great coach. Everybody, I know Bears fans like to overreact to him. Oh, they're using David Montgomery different. No, they're using David Montgomery the same way. They just got a better offensive line. That's pretty the only thing I saw right there. The defense looks ready to go. And in an NFC where there's really not a favorite, in my personal opinion, I think the Eagles are still the Eagles, but I have not been overly impressed with their new offense. Brock Purdy's look good, but what is he going to do come, playoff time? I think that's a question there. Detroit Lions, to me, put themselves firmly in this, not just NFC North, but the NFC conversation.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. It's kind of what, we didn't want to buy into the hype, the preseason hype, but it's actually, turning out to be exactly what they are, a really good football team. They got a great coach. They've built the coach. They built it from the trenches, which, what we've been begging our team to do. But, like you said, they have a really good offensive line. And you add a running back like David Montgomery, who gets a lot of yards after carries. And then you said they force fed him. Jared Goff did a good job not turning the ball over this game. Sometimes he can't give it away. He didn't do that to last night. And, they dominated. And like you said, at this point, like, I hate that, everything usually turns back to us shitting on the Bears. But, I mean,
it is what it is.
It's an unfortunate reality right now. So, I mean, but like I said, no, the Lions are a really good football team, whether you want to admit it or not. So that's all I saw. It's still early, but they good.
Yeah, they look solid. I mean, but they're built the right way, man. They're tough on both lines, offense and defense. So their lines are stout, and they went in there and they won a game. Ideally, how the Bears would want to win a game up in Lambeau, and that would be by running the shit out of the ball. The Lions, I think they ran the ball was something like 41 or 42 times yesterday. The Bears, between all of their running backs, have a total combined 43 carries through 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So, the lines are looking good. I mean, we're gonna still have to see it. But they're looking right, and now they're gonna be getting Jameson Williams back, so that's gonna be their over the top threat, and that's only gonna open up the offense even more for them.
Definitely.
Hutch said it best last night. Aaron's out the division now. Life is good. I do think the Detroit Lions made a serious step in the right direction this season. I never thought I'd actually be able to say that in my lifetime, but Lions are looking nice. Maybe not Eagles, Niners nice, but they're looking nice.
Yeah, I think just really, and it's like you said, Dante. I hate bringing up the Bears every time, but it's just like I was disgusted. I was like, even the Detroit Lions got it together before the Bears did. Like, what is going on? Like, it infuriates me to no level. Like, I don't really have any beef with the Detroit Lions. Like, Detroit Lions are like, I don't know, like your stepbrother or something. Like, as bad as it's been for the Bears historically, it's been way worse for them niggas, like by far. But their fan base talking a lot this summer, but their team is backing it up. Unlike the stuff that we talked this summer, our team is not backing it up whatsoever. So I got to get love to them, man. And Dan Campbell's actually one of my favorite coaches in the league because he's just a pure football guy. I love what he brings to the table. And I just love what they're doing with that whole organization. And I've always said with having family in Detroit, it's a very underrated fan base that I don't think a lot of people talk about, obviously, because they've been so historically bad. But you saw those Lions fans in Lambeau last night. You've seen just how they've been. Ford Field is one of the most hyped up places to watch a game. Last year, when they were in that playoff race, in the last game they played against the Bears, which they completely wiped the Bears off the map, it was loud in there. It was crazy up in there. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like if they host their own playoff game. Of course, they win the division, they will host a playoff game. That's going to be interesting to see. But it's a long season. There's still a lot of time for the Detroit Lions to do some Detroit Lions stuff. But for right now, I think you can't ask for a better start than what they're doing. They're now 3-1. Really could be easily 4-0 if they didn't, lose in overtime to the Seattle Seahawks. But start off the season, ruining ring night for the Kansas City Chiefs, coming on, knocking off your division rival. I mean, it's a great start for them. I don't really think there's anything else that any other way you can want to start the season if I was them. So that's what I'll give to the Detroit Lions, man. So let's move on to more NFL. A team that put up 70 American football points, the Miami Dolphins. When I was at Arrowhead on Sunday, it was one of the few things there was two things people were talking about in the press row pregame. One was Taylor Swift, and I will get on that later in this show, what problem I have with that and her security and what they was on with me, but that's a whole different conversation. But they were also talking about just how many points they're putting up. And first it was like, it's 50. And I was like, what? That's a lot. It's 60. And then it was somebody, they put up 70. And I just couldn't believe it. With everything they're doing there, Mike McDaniel, he's doing something. Me and Mikey talked about this in the group chat. What he's done with Tua and, basically catering around his strengths, which is what a smart head coach is supposed to do. You're seeing all that come together. You're seeing Tyreek Hill just being amazing. And yes, I know that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year, But you can't tell me that Pat still doesn't miss Tyreek Hill. Like, he had a touchdown last week that he ran the wrong route, and that just shows you just what kind of a video game player he is. Now, we're only into the first quarter of the season. My question for y'all is there overreaction to say that the Miami Dolphins should be title favorites right now?
Not at all. I think when you got an offense like that, and one thing we've said, even though we always have a little caveat with it, we said if Tua stays healthy, that this team is a very dangerous team. And now you get to a point where they're doing this with Jalen Ramsey out, so you're gonna eventually add Jalen Ramsey to that defense. That's another weapon that they'll be able to use on the other side of the ball. But offensively, when you have that type of speed and those type of skill players, and we also remember, if people forget, a few weeks ago we heard rumors that they were interested in Jonathan Taylor. So, imagine if they add a piece like that to this offense. So, I think the sky's the limit for them when you have an offensive mind like Mike McDaniels. And it goes to a point that, Scott, I think you said this, but he said, at this point, I'm starting to think, defensive head coaches, that's not really the wave no more. Like, that's a poor decision. And Mike McDaniels is one of those people who's showing you exactly why, because they're really locked in and that they're only going to grow together and get better. So I think they definitely are a title favorite.
Yeah, I agree. They have everything that you want in an offense, especially in like the modern day offense. Is that my cat? I thought somebody broke into the house. I'm like, who the fuck is crawling on the floor? Yo, that shit tweaked me out. But no, they have everything that you want in an offense, and that's what you're looking for, especially in the division they play in, because they're gonna get into shootouts. We're gonna get into it later, when we break down these games, but they are gonna be playing the Bills, and those two are the best. Those are the best two teams in the East. I know, the Jets were up there prior to the Aaron Rodgers situation, and losing them, but both of those teams can put up points in bunches, and you need that. When it comes down to the crunch time. So I think the Dolphins definitely are a title contender. They are gonna have to somewhat kind of learn how to play some defense. I don't think they've gotten nearly the return that they wanted that they envisioned when they traded for Bradley Chubb from the Broncos. But they've given, as far as offense, and as far as giving their young quarterback everything he needs to thrive. I mean, what more could you ask for? You got a top 5 wide receiver in the game in Tyreek Hill that you went and traded, and you gave him the bag. You also went and you drafted another one in Jalen Waddle in the top 10. You went and you signed the best left tackle that was out there available this year, in free agency, in Teron Armstead. And then you pair him together with, Mike McDaniels, who comes from that, that Shanahan McVay tree. And, like the sky's the limit for them, and like Dante said, we always did put the caveat as long as Tua could stay healthy. So, I'm down here, and, the way the Bears keep going, my Sundays are going to start switching to watching these motherfuckers.
I was about to say, you might as well.
No, yeah. I'm gonna start watching these motherfuckers because it's modern day football, and it's a lot way more exciting than watching that shit we've been watching.
Yeah, man.
There's nothing I could say that Mikey didn't just cover. They got the best receiver room in the league, arguably. Tua's firing on all cylinders right now. I don't know if I necessarily am ready to say that they're better than the Chiefs, but I still I have some reservations though about Kansas City right now, because we saw how they looked without Travis Kelce. Am I ready to put them above the Bills yet? Not 100% sure, but we, like Dante said earlier, we know how that kind of goes. They go back and forth with each other. I don't know, man. Favorites, I don't know. Recency bias is a wild thing. I think we just saw a team score 70 points and we're all kind of in awe because it doesn't happen. The Broncos are really just, that was pathetic. But yeah, man, I don't know if I'm ready to put them up there as the favorites quite yet in the AFC, but we'll see.
Yeah, but my bad, Scott. But one thing to piggyback on that is we were seeing the signs of this last year. I mean, they came out the gate to start the season last year hot as fuck. If it wasn't for Tua getting suplex in Cincinnati, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were already seeing I think they were what, 3-0, 4-0 at that time too. So like we're kind of seeing the maturation and the progression in that offense. So like like we said, it's gonna all fall down with Tua and his health, like with everything, with all these teams. It all comes down to the quarterback. But like I don't think it's a fluke because we started seeing it last year. It just so happened that that man had CTE early on, and that was it.
Yeah, I think one thing too, like what you just said, Courtney. Like they're gonna, I won't say they about to start playing big boy ball, 'cause they do got a lot of huff. Like they got the Bills. This game to me on Sunday is gonna tell me a lot against the Bills. Even though we know how off and on Josh Allen can be, I think that that's been well documented on this show. They're gonna get a real test this week because you're gonna have to play some defense when you own up a team like against the Buffalo Bills. Then they get two passes. Giants at home, Panthers at home. Then it gets a little tough. Then you go on the road to Philadelphia. That's going to be a real testing game right there. Even though the Patriots are still a division game, that Bill Belichick's defense knows how to scheme. Even though they're 5-0 against Bill Belichick in the Tua era since Tom Brady has left, that's still going to be a tough game. But this, I've got November 5th circled. This is the game that's going to be. I think this is the London game
Yeah, that's
or
the
the
London
Germany
game.
game. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
London or
the
Germany game.
yeah, Germany overseas. Yeah,
Germany game, the one they kicked the Bears out of, rightfully so, because we don't need to have those Germans watching this crap. You know what I'm saying? But they will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs in that one, and then they really have kind of a soft schedule, honestly. So, but I'm with you, like as of right now, I would consider them the favorites, just going off what we've seen in this first quarter. But I've kind of treated the Kansas City Chiefs the same way that I'm treating how I used to treat the Patriots for all those years. It's just until somebody proves to me that they can beat 15 in a playoff game, and 9 times out of 10 a playoff game in Arrowhead, it doesn't really matter to me what other teams are doing, because we know when it's time to get it going. Come playoff time, they're gonna get it rocking. We know what Patrick Mahomes can do. We know what Andy Reid can do. You got Chris Jones back in the fold, and Travis Kelce's gonna do his thing too. So I definitely would still probably say that long term, I would still put my money on Kansas City unless somebody gets hurt. But at the moment, you gotta love how Miami's playing, especially coming off how their season ended last year with Tua getting hurt. But they put up a fight even in that playoff game against the Bills. So I just love everything that Mike McDaniels is doing over there. And that's something that I'm really excited to see how it's going to roll out for the rest of the year. And I'm still not the biggest Tua guy, but I think he works perfectly in the system, man. So that's how I feel about Miami. Anything you want to say, Dante? If we move on to the next,
No, I'm good, bro.
well, let's move on to our one of our famous segments on this show. It is Mikey's weekly parlay. Of course, last week he was live in location, giving y'all some good bets and everything that you need to be accustomed to for the week, man. So, Mikey, what do you have for us this week, bro?
yeah. So last week sucked because the Jaguars shit the bed against the Texans. I don't think any of us had. I wasn't on for the show yesterday, but I'm pretty sure none of y'all picked the Texans to beat the Jags, right?
No.
Definitely
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, so we're going into week 4 and we're 5-5 on the season. So we're gonna try to stack some days where we could get ahead. For my single bet this week, I really like Derrick Henry over 66.5 rushing yards. I think he's going up against the Bengals. The defense really isn't too good, especially their run defense. So I expect to see a heavy dose of Derrick Henry. So we're gonna take Derrick Henry over 66.5 rushing yards. And then for our I'm not gonna hold you parlay of the week. We're gonna try it once again with the Jags. I actually like the Jags to take care of Dante's Falcons over in London. So we're gonna have the Jags, the Chargers, the Cowboys, and the Steelers. It's plus 425. A hundo on that will get you 425. So those are the plays I like right now. I might play some other stuff as we get closer to the weekend. So if I do, stay tuned to my page and stay tuned to the Barber Chair page, and we'll go ahead and we'll tweet that out.
Definitely stay tuned with that. We always like to hook y'all up with them parlays, make your money, man. Thank Mikey when you do make the money. Matter of fact, send him something. Help a
Yeah,
play out.
facts.
These are
I
tough
got
times right
the
here.
first coming up, man. Thank you.
Yeah, the first is coming up next week,
Oh
and
yeah,
yeah,
hashtag rent due.
hashtag rent due. We know how that goes on Twitter. Help a play out, man. But we're going to get into our week 4 preview while Courtney is here. I know she got some things to do. We're gonna start off with the international game, which is the one of 5 international games. In fact, the NFL just re-upped on their contract with London to be doing these games in that arena. So it will be Sunday morning. It will be the Atlanta Falcons and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have not been very impressed with the Jacksonville Jaguars so far this year. I think that Trevor Lawrence is going under the radar because of white privilege. Not to say that he's been bad, but I definitely don't think this man has been good so far into this season. I do feel like the defense has not been, as great. Everything about it has just been kind of rocky. And on the other end with Atlanta, I've actually liked how Atlanta's played. The way they played to me has been pretty impressive. I still don't believe in Desmond Ridder, and I think a lot of people don't believe in Desmond Ridder, but they have everything else you need in a team. I do think this is going to be a close game, especially on neutral territory. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars in a very close game, maybe by a field goal.
I think we get a heavy dose of Bijan because Arthur Smith realizes, like you said, Ritter ain't it. And I think the Falcons are going to win. I won't say by 10 like last time because they definitely got smoked. But again, like I said, I think they're going to realize, all right, Ritter, we're going to still give you an opportunity to hit your spots, but that O-line is too spotty to really let him try to sit back there and throw the ball. So we get a heavy dose of Bijan, who has, in the limited time they've given him, has been really good. So I got the Falcons. Like you said, the winner of this game will win by like a field goal. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with the Jaguars. I agree with your analysis, Scott, that they have been a little bit rocky. Doug Peterson was, kind of passed over the play caller to his boy, Fred Taylor, let him get his chops up. And it seems like, from everything I've been reading, it seems like he snatched that Denny's menu back from his hands, and he's gonna go back to calling the offense. So I think we're gonna see a good offense and a good offensive performance by them this year. And something that we haven't mentioned yet, this is the Calvin Ridley revenge game. So
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I
Didn't
think
think
I
about
think
that.
yeah, I think Calvin Ridley's gonna feast. I think we're gonna see a heavy dosage of Calvin Ridley. And with like Dante said, with that spotty offensive line, this might be a good get right spot for that, for that defensive line with Tavon Walker and all them. I think they're gonna apply some pressure on Ritter when he, in obvious passing situations. So I got the Jaguars winning.
Yeah, I got the Jags as well. Last year, that loss to the Broncos in London was Jacksonville's wake-up call. Hopefully, that's not the case again this year. Like Scott said, I haven't been terribly impressed with the Jags, but I think this is going to be Calvin Ridley's revenge game, and he's going to come out and absolutely crush it. So, yeah, I got the Jags by a touchdown.
The Falcons will get at least 2 picks.
At least I like that. I really like that. If I was a gambler, I might bet on that. Let's go to the next game. We kind of just slightly talked about a little bit. This game will be in Buffalo. Buffalo Bills hosting the Miami Dolphins, man. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the weekend. Gonna go Bills. I'm gonna go Bills in this one. I think the Dolphins will put up a fight, but I think they're gonna get hit with their first little bit of adversity. And I think the problem is gonna be kind of what Mikey said earlier, is the defense. We all know that Josh Allen might be due for a pick or two, but against this defense, against the secondary without Jalen Ramsey, there's going to be plays to be made. And I do think that the Buffalo Bills are going to come out and they're going to get a good win. And I think the Buffalo Bills have played kind of more to the Bills we've known them to be since they took that tough loss week 1 against the Jets. And I think this will be a good one for them. And then the question for that will be, how will the Dolphins respond to this? That'll tell me a lot. But not only the Bills gonna win, I'm gonna pick the Bills by 10 in this one. I think the Bills gonna go out there and make a little statement this week.
I'm with you on the Bills winning, but I think it's going to be a close one. I think the Bills win by 3. And I think it'll bring the Dolphins a little bit back down to earth after a 70-point game that they had last week. I definitely got the Bills, though, this week.
I got the Dolphins. I got the Dolphins on the road. I think it's gonna be a big win. But like I like everything I've seen with this team so far this season, and I think it's only up from here. So I'm gonna go with Miami.
Yeah, last team that had the ball is gonna win. Last offense. I think, the spread is pretty accurate. Kind of like how Courtney said. She said, by like around 3. I think right now it was at 3, 2.5. So they're expecting this to be a close game. I'm gonna ride with the Dolphins though. I think with Jordan Poyer being out in that secondary for the Bills, Jalen Waddle coming back now, you're not just game planning for Tyreek Hill, and all he's been doing the last 2 weeks by himself. Now you bring it back Waddle, and that's a cold motherfucker. So I agree though. Josh Allen has been playing a lot better since we put him on that Summer Jam screen. But I'm gonna ride with the Dolphins in this one.
Definitely. Let's move on to an AFC North matchup, man. In the dog pound of Cleveland, it will be the Cleveland Browns taking on the Baltimore Ravens. So pretty much with this game, you already have Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman have been ruled out. Freaky Sean is questionable. He hasn't practiced all week. He has had, I think they said, a back injury,
It's
which
like
is
yeah, I
which is
think it's like his
hilarious.
shoulder. They
It's
say he
his
hasn't thrown.
shoulder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
he hasn't
shoulder.
thrown.
He hasn't thrown all week. Yeah.
Okay, he hasn't thrown all week, which I don't think he's going to play if that's going to be the case. So this one is not going to be as good as advertised. You have Roquan Smith, who's been talking a lot, which is funny because Roquan used to never talk. But he was like, he said, basically we going into the house and we trying to beat them up in front of their wives and kids. So this is going to be a good game. But knowing all the things that I know right now about the current injury situation, I don't think Freaky Sean is going to play. So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens in this one to go on the road and take this. And even if Deshaun wasn't playing, he hasn't been great. Like I know he had a good game last week against the worst secondary in football, not named the Chicago Bears, but this is to me this is a good game for the Ravens to go out there and get a W.
Yeah, I agree. Ravens. It's unfortunate Odell really just can't stay healthy. I really wanted to see him contribute to this team. Not saying he can't. The season isn't over yet, but that's unfortunate. But I agree. I got the Ravens in this one.
I got the Ravens as well, especially if Freaky Sean does not play. I got Baltimore. Also, I will never choose the Browns. So
We're gonna get into that one day. I need to know why you won't never choose the Browns.
Well, we know why you won't watch
as long as that team, I will never ever get behind them.
I'm saying we got 36 reasons why.
Right. Damn,
36 reasons why. That's a good one.
I'm riding with the Ravens. I was riding with the Ravens before the Deshaun injury. I just think this is a good spot for the Ravens and for Lamar. We already know like with that Browns, the Browns defensive line is going to pose issues, for majority of the league, but they don't got Joe Burrow back there. They got Lamar. Lamar can make shit happen with his legs. So I think we're going to see that, and I think we might see a couple, busted plays back in the backfield, and I think Lamar's gonna get loose and catch Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers over the top. So I like the Ravens on this one.
Definitely. Let's go to Houston, Texas, the Steelers. CJ Stroud, man, having a pretty good start to the season, actually showing what Ohio State quarterback should look like. Had a really good week last week. They got a W as well. So I'm gonna go for Texas Steelers. Kenny Pickett, I think he had a pretty solid game last week in Vegas. But the Raiders are also a mess with this one. I'm gonna take the Steelers. I think it was a good win for Houston last week. I do think that CJ Stroud has been impressive so far. But the Steelers defensive line, I feel like is going to cause some problems for them. I think TJ Watt is going to get active, and I think that they will put up enough points to win this one. I'm going to go with the Steelers over the Texans.
Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. Oh, I'm with you. That Texans offensive line right now is looking a little ragged, and now they're down. Adam Schefter reported about 45 minutes ago they're down Josh Jones and Laramie Tunsil. So that's bad news for especially against the Steelers coming into week 3. They had the most sacks in the NFL. So I got the Steelers pretty handedly in this one, unfortunately for Houston.
Yeah, no, definitely. I got the Steelers as well. You know, you talked about Watt, and also the 32nd pick in the draft, Joey Porter Jr. You know, shout out to Chase Claypool. He's been playing really well. You know, so I got the Steelers. I got the Steelers in this one.
Yeah, I'm riding with the Steelers in this one. And I'm gonna predict that C.J. Stroud throws his first career interception to Minkah Fitzpatrick for a pick six.
Minka. I
For
like
a pick
Minka, man.
six.
He play old school football, man. I like
Yeah,
Minka. He don't apologize. He knock niggas out. Like, yo, this
CTE
is
ball.
football. Yeah, this is football. Put the kids up. That's what I like about Minka, man. I wish we had safeties on our team. Anyway,
Right. I
uh,
mean, the motherfucker's name is Minka. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got nothing to live for. He playing crazy.
Next game is I feel like every Panthers game is important for the Bears. This game is very important for the Vikings because they don't want to be on the same tier as the Bears, which they currently are. 0-3, looking at 0-4 in the eyes. It will be the Panthers and the Vikings in Carolina. Bryce Young will be back after one week off from being hurt. He will be back in this game. I think that the Vikings get this done. I think they get it done pretty easily, honestly. The Vikings are a team where they're 0-3, but they look like a team that can dig out of an 0-3 because I feel like Kirk Cousins is good enough for their defense has been mediocre as expected with all the pieces that they lost defensively this offseason. And they had a chance to win last week too, even though that interception was not Kirk Cousins' fault. And I keep saying we need to treat tip ball interceptions like the way we treat unearned runs in baseball. Like, I don't feel like that should go against the quarterback. Now, it's funny to make fun of Kirk Cousins, even though at this particular point in my life, I would kill somebody to have a quarterback like Kirk Cousins. I feel like they'll have enough offense. Justin Jefferson will get it done, Jordan Addison. And I think they're going to win this one pretty easily, man. And I think that it'll just be another thing to help Chicago, help the Bears in some type of way with that draft pick. So I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Same, Minnesota, you know. Appreciate the dub because it's going to help us out. But, I mean, I think at this point, the Panthers, they aren't a really good football team. Like I said, good to see Bryce Young back because just for his development, you want to see him get out there, take his licks, do his thing. But they're not going to win this football game. So I got Minnesota. I got Minnesota by 14.
Yeah, I got that too. Yeah,
I got Minnesota easily for all the same reasons. Love Bryce, Roll Tide. Happy to see him back. But, yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
Shout out to my man Germs. I'm about to be at the crib. Skull. Skull. You know what I'm saying? We need that Panthers 0-4. But no, I'm riding with the Vikings on this one. This is actually a perfect game. We'll get into it, but for a lot of the 0-3 teams, they got perfect matchups. For somebody got to win. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way we're looking at the Bears Broncos matchup. Broncos are looking at us like we're food. So the Vikings are looking at the Panthers like this is perfect. You know, we just got to get that one and go from there because they have shown a lot of promise on offense.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Goff said this on his podcast, but the Bears are the new get right game. 100%. So I definitely agree with that. Next game will be Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson has been cleared. He's out of concussion protocol. He will be back starting this Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams. And even though the Rams have only won one game, I've been impressed with what I've seen with the Rams just because I feel like this is one of Sean McVay's best coaching jobs just based off the talent that he has. I'm gonna go with the Rams in this one. I'm gonna go with the Rams in this game. I think they're gonna get a win. I've been impressed with what I've seen from Anthony Richardson so far, but I think it'll be a tall task against Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it real, and I think that they'll be able to put up enough points on this defense. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I do think that they'll win this one probably by like a touchdown. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I'm going to definitely go with LA. That's not going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a good game. I know Sean McVay, you know, he does some great things. He can make, lemonade out of lemons, but this is not going to be a pretty game. I think Anthony Richardson, his first game back. You hate to see him, you know, be in concussion protocol this early in his career because, you know, the play style they're going to try to play with him. So it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they try to Cam Newton, bro. But I got LA by 10.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I got LA around 10 as well. Like I'm happy to see Anthony Richardson back for both real life and fantasy reasons. But yeah, he is not starting for me this week. I got the Rams by 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with the Colts. I'm gonna go against the grain on this one. I think this is a perfect game for Matthew Stafford to pitch down his leg. So I think I'm gonna ride with the Colts with the upset.
Definitely. This next game, I love NFC South matchup. There's nothing like NFC South rivalries. Like their fans take it to another level on Twitter. This is Courtney's team. We're gonna give her the floor first with the Saints Bucks. Buccaneers. Even though they lost last week to the Eagles, I was actually impressed with how they played. Like I feel like there's a blueprint for them to be competitive, especially in that god awful division. The Saints will be playing without Derek Carr, who is still out with that AC injury. So we'll be famous Jameis this week. Courtney, what do you feel about your team right now coming into this game and who you got?
I would love to say that I'm feeling better. It's not that Jameis Winston did bad last week. What was it? He was 10 for 16, 103 yards, just about the same stat line from Derek Carr, except Derek Carr had a touchdown pass. Listen, you can't go up 17-0 against the Packers in the fourth quarter and then give up 18 unanswered points. Like, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is if your secondary can't get right. Jordan Love is not good, okay? I'm tired that I'm so mad that we and y'all can relate.
Yeah, all of us as a conglomerate.
Like you said, like prime Dan Marino. I'm mad about it, and I'm mad about the discourse that followed because now, listen, Matt LaFleur, fantastic play caller, but the Saints really shit the bed in that game. And so now I'm currently in the market for a new football team. I do got the Randall Cunningham Eagles jersey in the closet, so I do look great in Kelly Green. We might have to convert fully because I can't do this. That being said, the Bucks got hurt. They got hurt.
They got Hort. You got Hort, cuz.
You got Hort.
You got Hort.
I don't believe in him, but he's got heart, and I want to say the Saints will redeem themselves, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Bucks and hope that I'm wrong.
I'm going with Baker Mayfield. I never thought I would say that. I've said that a couple times this year, but yeah, I'm going with good old country Baker, man. He out there, like again, he's healthy. One thing we know, even as bad as he played in Cleveland, you do have to acknowledge his shoulder was messed up. So he's healthy. I think they'll have a good game. Him and Mike Evans. Mike Evans on the road to 1,000 yards again. I got the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with the Saints at home. It's never easy playing in the Superdome, and I think there's some good film, for the Saints defense to prepare for Dennis Allen to use last week from what the Eagles did to Baker Mayfield. So I like the Saints, and I like Chris Olave. They have a big game with Jameis revenge game. I'm all about the revenge game narrative. So Jameis is gonna cook this week.
He's gonna throw 4 picks. But
see, that's the thing about Jameis. He might throw 4 picks, but he might throw 4 touchdowns with them 4 picks.
Right.
That's how Jameis
very true.
is.
Very true.
All things
it's a balance. Yeah, in the words of Thanos, like all things should be. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I mean, with the Saints too. For all the reasons that Mikey just named, I think that defensively the Saints are always gonna be in the game just because how the defense is, and this is it's a revenge game, which you can never underestimate those. I feel that crowd is going to be ready. It's a division game, and Jameis, I like Jameis, man. I like Jameis. Is not just a player, but as a person. Like, he's a leader. I think those guys are going to rally behind him. I really like what the Buccaneers have been doing. They've been playing well for Bunny Colvin out there in Tampa, but I just feel like Jameis is going to make more plays. Now, he might make more mistakes than Baker, but I feel like he's going to make more mistakes, and that defense is going to get one more play than Tampa Bay will. So I'm going to go with the Saints there.
And I got one more thing to add to that. Yeah, Baker looked great, but hindsight's 2020. But as we take a step back and we look at it, he beat 2 0-3 teams. A very bad Minnesota secondary, and then the
Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Yeah, the Arena League team that was
looking like a JUCO squad out there. Indian Hills Community College.
I'm saying touche, my nigga, touche.
My brother said when it was like 31 something, he said this looks like Bishop Sycamore versus IMG. This is what he said. It got a nice hearty laugh in the press box. We're gonna go up to the NFC. defending NFC champion, Philadelphia Eagles, another division matchup. They'll be going up against the Commanders. Sam Howell did not have a great week last week to be nice through 4 picks in that straight up massacre against the what's the motherfucker's name? The Buffalo Bills. There we go. Against that game. So I think that this one is the Eagles. They haven't really had their offensive explosion yet. Pause. But I think that's going to happen in this game. I do think that the Commanders, while they started off real competitive, they're going to lose 2 in a row. Now they're probably going to win on Thursday when they play the Bears, but I think this week, tomorrow they're going to lose. I mean, Sunday they're going to lose this game, and I think what you're going to see a little bit more of the Jalen Hurts that we're used to seeing in this one, man. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Yeah, bro, Eagles.
Yeah.
Oh no, my bad. I'm going with the Eagles. Like Commanders, they've come back down to reality. You know, Sam Howell is Sam Howell. You know, he is who he is. You know, it's not. You can only scheme so much for somebody until they,
Right.
the talent has to take over. So they've come back to reality. So I got the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm riding with the Eagles too.
Yeah,
my bad.
No, you're good. I mean, Commanders got waxed by the Bills defense, and respectfully, I don't think the Bills defense is as good as the Eagles. So I think
it's not.
It could get real ugly real quick.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be the Eagles and what Scott said, a get right game for that offense.
Yep. Next game is in Tennessee. I feel like we're seeing the end of the fake Ryan Tannehill circle, I guess you want to call it, where it's, he had his high a couple years ago, and like we're getting back to realize, oh, this nigga is Ryan Tannehill. The Bengals have not been impressive. I think that a lot of it has to do with Joe Burrow's calf is cooked, and I think that's going to be an issue for a very long time. I respect him playing last week. I get it, but I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. Y'all need to sit this nigga. You do not want to play with calf injuries. Ask Kevin Durant. You ain't even got to go all the way that far back. Ask Aaron Rodgers. Do not play with calf injuries. This is a man who's already tore his ACL. This is a man who you made the highest paid player in sports. You need to be able to protect him. If you got to give up a season to keep your franchise quarterback healthy, it is what it is. I think they need to sit him. Now, do I think they're going to sit him? No. I think this is going to be a very ugly football game. Something that will play right into the Tennessee Titans' favor. Having said all of that, I still think the Bengals, even with Joe Burrow on one leg, can make 1 or 2 more plays than the Titans will. And I think the Bengals are going to win. And they're going to be up at 2-2 and going in the right direction.
Oh no, one of y'all go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with the Bengals. I think it is gonna be an ugly game. This smells like a game-winning field goal type of game. But I was I was really impressed with Trey Hendrickson and their defensive line and how they were getting after the Rams last week. So defense travels. If their defensive line is gonna be like that on passing downs, then yeah, Tannehill's gonna be in for it. That's why I think we see a heavy dosage of Derrick Henry in that run game. But if they're gonna run the ball, if the Titans on one end are gonna run the ball, and the Bengals are gonna try to throw it, so it's gonna be that a movable object, saying type thing. But I think at the end of the day, we're looking at a Evan McPherson game-winning field goal type of situation for the Bengals.
Yep, I can definitely see that, and I'm definitely riding with Mikey's prop over 66.5 rushing yards for Derrick Henry, because I think he's gonna get a heavy dosage of action this weekend. I'm riding with the Bengals though. Ryan Tannehill, I was never really on the Ryan Tannehill train, and I'm definitely not now, especially not this weekend.
Yeah, I think how about Joe Burrow or not? I think Cincinnati gets the victory here.
We're gonna go to SoFi Stadium, man. This is gonna be a Raiders home game, and I also say if you go to any game in SoFi Stadium that the Raiders at, prepare to fight niggas, because Raider Nation always comes deep. These are the old niggas who be outside the Roscoe's on Pico, and they still think Magic Johnson is the greatest player to ever play basketball. These are the type of niggas that you're gonna see at SoFi Stadium on Sunday. The Raiders are a mess. Devontae Adams is pissed. I truly feel if Aaron Rodgers had a leg right now that he would be getting traded to the Jets at the trade deadline. But since that's dead, he's going to have to just deal with this. Jimmy G is bad. Mini Hoodie is one of the worst coaches in football right now. I think the Chargers will go out there and do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm gonna go with this one.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely gonna be a Raiders home game. If anybody need tickets, reach out to me. You see the name right there. I got you. But I got the Chargers at home. I think Herbert lights them up. It's gonna be a rough one for Jimmy G.
Yeah, I'm riding with the Chargers. I don't know if right now it still says that he's questionable with the concussion and he's limited. We'll see how they play those games. But yeah, whether Jimmy G is starting or it's Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell, I got the Chargers in this one.
Yeah, I got the Chargers as well. If the Chargers don't win, Brandon Staley, you got to go, bud. It's over. Jimmy G, call me if you're ready to come be a family man. But I got the Chargers.
Shout out Jimmy G, Eastern Illinois legend. I saw Jimmy G at barn party at Eastern one year. Anybody who went to any of them barn parties back in the day, you remember exactly how them things went down. So shout out to Jimmy G.
That's quarterback you right there. That's quarterback you right there. Eastern Illinois. That's the real quarterback you.
The real quarterback you. We're gonna go to the next game. Dante, you gave your pick already, right?
Yeah, I kicked it off.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, he was over there. He was over there selling tickets, loitering and shit, soliciting tickets
on air.
Don't kick us off YouTube,
man. Next game, Cowboys Patriots, man. I think the Cowboys gonna win this one easily. The Patriots, like I've been saying for weeks, it's time for Bill Belichick to go home and be a family man. Like there's only so much that he can do at this particular point. Mac Jones stinks. I'm going to go with the Cowboys on this one. I think they're going to win pretty easily.
Where's the game at?
It's in Dallas.
Okay, it's in Dallas. I'll go Cowboys. Otherwise, I was going to go Patriots. But I still don't trust Officer Prescott. I just don't. No matter what happens here. So I think it's going to be a decent game, but I think the Cowboys will pull it out at home.
Yeah, I'm riding with the Cowboys. When in doubt, at least you could lean on their defense to rattle Mac Jones, and it's not like the Patriots got any type of fucking offensive firepower over there to catch them off guard. So this might be another little ugly game, running game, grind it out, but I'm riding with the Cowboys on this one.
Next game, Niners Cardinals. Cardinals had a real good win last week that might come back and help the Bears if need be. They had a nice win. Joshua Dobbs, nice win against the Cowboys last week, but they're going to be going to Candlestick 2.0 or Gene Stadium, as I like to call it, Levi Stadium. I think they're going to get bum rushed. I think this one's going to be over in the first quarter. There's going to be a lot of Christian McCaffrey, a lot of Deebo Samuel. Brock Purdy's going to make some plays. I think that the Niners are going to easily win this football game. That's what I'm going with.
I agree. Shout out to the Niners. I think it's still pretty bad that they play in Santa Clara, which is damn near. No, ain't no damn near. It's far as hell from San Francisco.
It's 2 hours away.
45 minutes, not including
traffic. It's a damn joke. But I got the Niners in this one. Like you said, it's going to be a heavy dose of Deebo and Christian McCaffrey early on. Brock Purdy won't have to do much, but he's going to just be his accurate self. Everything we've seen with Brock. So I got them in a blowout.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with the Niners too. The Cardinals, we thought they were gonna be the worst team in the league, but to be honest, they should be 3-0. They lost two very close. They were up 28-7 on the Giants, and then they lost a very tough one against the Commanders in week 1. So I think they're going to show up and put up a fight. I honestly don't think they're going to be as bad as we think, just because you could tell like they're playing for their new coach and they're believing in the system and everything. But the Niners, at the end of the day, they're going to impose their will towards the end. You're going to see a heavy doses of CMC. This has the opportunity to be a big George Kittle game. The Niners are the class of the NFC, and they're going to show it again on Sunday.
Yeah, I got the Niners as well. That defense is elite, and they have just a breadth of options offensively in San Francisco. So they got to be the most well-rounded team, honestly, in the league. I'm going with the Niners easily against the Cardinals.
That's probably going to be the frustrating part as a Niner fan. And of course, have everything. You just hope that the quarterback holds up. So that's definitely something that they're gonna hope that happens. But it's definitely gonna happen this week. Last game we're gonna preview because we're gonna preview Monday Night Football on Monday. Sunday Night Football, Jets, Chiefs at MetLife Stadium. If you hate Taylor Swift, if you hate this coverage that's been going on, you probably should not watch this football game because this one's gonna be a blowout. I believe the Chiefs are gonna win. I don't know about blowout. I think the Chiefs will win by. I think the final score will be bigger than the actual game is. I do feel like that the Jets defense is good enough to make it competitive, and also Matt Nagy hasn't been having that offense running the way it should be, which should not be a shock to anybody. So I think it'll be. I think it's a game that they'll win by like 10 or 13, but the game will be a lot closer than the score shows. But it's going to be a lot of Penn and Taylor Swift in the skybox that we saw on Sunday, and it's going to be very annoying. But I'm going with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I got the Kansas City Swifties by 10.
Yeah, I'm a ride with the Chiefs. Mahomes is going for the last Infinity Stone of the 2021 quarterback draft class. He took care of Trevor Lawrence, he took care of Justin Fields, and now he'll complete it with Zach Wilson. So I got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs big.
I got the Chiefs. I got to plead the fifth though in the analysis.
And we know that we gonna put something on a ticker every week. Courtney cannot comment on Jets games across the screen.
She's gonna flash NDA.
Exactly. I want to give a shout out to everybody who actually gave me credit for my Patrick Mahomes quote last week. By the way, shout out to y'all who actually gave me credit. Shout out to my man Jonathan Hood, the shout out on ESPN radio. I heard 670 score gave me a shout out to. Shout out to everybody who did that, man. So one of the few good things that came from last week's game. That's all the NFL coverage we got. Courtney, we know you got to get up out of here. Is there anything you want to tell people before you bounce?
Go Rangers. That's really all I got. It's a wild weekend for baseball. Got the Diamondbacks playing the Astros. Got the Rangers playing the Mariners head to head. Things are getting crazy in the American League West. Highly recommend you tap in. It's going to be good stuff. Other than that, I ain't got nothing else. Roll Tide, forks up, even though ASU stinks. That's all I got.
We always forks up on this side.
Oh, you already know. You already know.
We do it differently.
This is one of those two Americas moments.
Yeah. It's a Chicago moment.
It's one Chicago. It's one Chicago moment.
Yeah, exactly. Big folks moment going on here. But thank you, Courtney. Of course, you'll be back on Monday. We're gonna talk about wild card baseball on Monday, man. So definitely, y'all can follow at 1-800. Y'all can follow at 1-800-CALL-A-BRO, and she'll be back on Monday, man. So we've got one last topic before we go into the local hour. We're going to talk a little NBA real quick. Now, we're not going to spend too much time on this, and it's kind of like a two-part question before I get into the actual major trade happening this week with Damian Lillard going to the Milwaukee Bucks. My question for my esteemed panel, do y'all care about the NBA starting up?
No.
I mean, yeah,
no.
I usually do because it means it signals my birthday is around the corner. My birthday is next Thursday, so that means training camp is about to open. So that's one of the main reasons I enjoy the startup. But other than that, it don't really get rolling until around Christmas. And for me, it's not even because of the NFL. It's just because of the quality of gameplay you get. Like, it's going to be some good games, but for the most part, these matchups, it seems like a lot of these teams are sleepwalking through it now. It's some of that, our fault and, the media's fault because we put such a heavy emphasis on the playoffs and championships that now people are saying, this shit don't matter. So that's up for debate. But me personally, I get excited because, it means it's a very important time of year.
Yeah, for me, I really only get excited from it's another thing to gamble on. And I watch, like obviously I'm tapped in with the Bulls, so I watch the Bulls, basically their preseason games because as a gambler you're always trying to find where you can exploit the books, so you might see I'm sitting here watching how Billy Donovan is utilizing the Javon Carter, Kobe White, and you might be able to catch a line that's like Javon Carter over 1.5 threes, but I'm watching preseason and he's putting up 4 a game, so that's really the only thing that I'm excited for. I agree with Dante though, like the season really doesn't start for me until probably like getting around close to Christmas. I'll tune in for those key matchups early. But I really, NBA really don't be on my radar till like January.
I'm gonna be real. I do not care. My NBA care level gets lower and lower every year. It's just and it's not that I don't enjoy the games. It's the discourse around it. The NBA has the worst discourse, and I mean from the media that's on TV to the beat, and especially NBA Twitter. It's just AIDS and cancer put together. It is god awful. Like I'm we already hearing about the Lakers. We are like the training camp even starting. We are here. What's it gonna be like when LeBron wins 5? Like I'm tired of it. So like I always care the first week. Like I tune. I'm excited to hear Chuck, Kenny, Shaq, and Ernie, like always. That's what I am excited to hear. I'm only gonna care the opening weekend, and I'm not gonna care again till Christmas. And even Christmas, I'm not gonna care that much because NFL got games now. So I'm really not tuned in till I have no choice, and that's till after the Super Bowl and after All-Star break. So I really don't care, but I do think this trade that we're gonna talk about now makes it a little bit more exciting. And that trade is Mr. Damian Lillard has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. This is the full details, 3-team trade. He's going to Milwaukee. Jrue Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Toumani Camara, 2029 first-round Bucks pick, and a pick swap with Portland. I'll be going to Portland. The Phoenix Suns get Yusuf Nurkic, Nazir Little, and Keon Johnson and Grayson Allen. So that is the full trade for them. I kind of blew an exclusive. I got a text on Monday at like 4 p.m. that alluded to the Dame going to Milwaukee, and it just sounded so outrageous to me. Even though this source has been right all the time, it just sounded so outrageous to me, and I didn't want to be wrong if that didn't happen, that I didn't tweet it. So as immediately as the news hit, I was in Hallis Hall and the news hit, I was upset because I was like, I could have been on this, man. So I will learn next time. But my personal thoughts on it, this is a spite trade. If anybody watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, one of my favorite episodes on season 10, really the whole season of season 10, is about the Spice store that Larry opened. Latte Larry, he's competing with Mocha Joe. This is a spite trade. Now, even though the trade worked out for Dame because he gets to play with arguably the best player in basketball, and I know Milwaukee's not a hot spot, but it's arguable that's probably better than Portland, just off the fact that you can be in Chicago in like 45 minutes. So you're still going from boring city to another boring city, but at least you got that. You got a legitimate chance to win a championship. But the reason I call it a spite trade is because really, if you read everything that has been covered, especially the article from Chris Haynes, shout out to Chris Haynes, he's been on this since day one. He was never going to go to Miami. Like, if you look at the details, Miami was going to give up a lot of picks, and on paper, their deal looked like it was better than what Milwaukee was offering. They had no intention to actually give Dame the city that he wanted to go to, even though he still got to a city where it works out. And if you're Pat Riley, and your Pat Riley's kind of losing his magic a little bit right here, man. Like, the Godfather doesn't feel like he's the Godfather anymore. I said a joke at Hallis Hall that landed pretty well. I was like, man, Pat Riley gonna be mad as hell when he wake up from his nap. You know what I'm saying? Like he I don't know what's going on. Like, he's missed out on a couple players now, and I don't think it hurts Miami for sure. But Miami is the team where they're gonna bounce back. They're probably gonna be in that top 4 anyway or make a run because of how Jimmy is come playoff time. But Jimmy needs that opposite score because sometimes Jimmy is a weird player. Like, he'll give you 45 in one game. The next game, he got like 13. So you definitely need a guy like a Damian Lillard who can score. But for Milwaukee, it's great. I know that they're missing a little depth. They're going to miss the defensive prowess of a Jrue Holiday. But in today's NBA, we say this every time a superstar gets traded. What about depth? What about depth? I don't care. You got the superstar, and now it's going to be hard to double Giannis. You got one of the best pick-and-roll players in the NBA in Damian Lillard. I think, kind of like what Jason Goff said earlier, if they're healthy, they should be the favorites to come out these. I'm not going to call them the favorites in the NBA because I still think Denver's going to be a problem. Denver didn't really lose anybody but Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown's a good player, but he's not moving the needle if you're talking about long-term stuff. Right. And then the Lakers had a really good offseason. Now, of course, the Lakers can they keep LeBron and Anthony Davis healthy? Who knows? But I would say for the Eastern Conference, they should come out of the Eastern Conference with a Damian Lillard. So I like to trade for Milwaukee. I don't like to trade for Portland because I don't really think they really got anything but I like it for Milwaukee.
I like to trade for. I low key like to trade for everybody. That's off the strength that for some it was addition by subtraction, and for others, if you're Milwaukee, you got Dame Lillard. You got one of the best point guards in the league. As far as it being a spite trade, I mean, yeah, Dame overplayed his hand. At the end of the day, he's came out and said, it's Miami and Miami only, and there was one. I'm trying to get the details on who wrote it, but there was one. Give me 1 second. It was Chris Haynes. They said it was Chris Haynes. And one thing he said in his article was that once Dame said, he said, if I can't go to Miami, I'll just come back. And they were like, nah, bro, that ship is sailed. It's a wrap. So they did what was best for them. And, you bring in an Aiden who, I think he has a potential to blossom there with a young core. And, and the coach is probably going to coach him up. And also what you get back from Drew Holiday, because you will be able to get a nice return from them. They're saying that there's going to be a high price tag on Drew. And I think a lot of these playoff teams will play that. So, a championship ain't in their future this year, the next year, or the next 3 years. So right now you're trying to build toward that so you can use Drew as a piece. And, like I said, if Aiden pans out, it continues to be, he was a damn near 2010 guy, that's great for Scoot and everybody else you got up there. If the Suns, Aiden wasn't gonna get the ball, and he didn't want to be there. So you bring in a Nurkic, guy who doesn't need the ball and can still help your ball club. He needs to stay healthy, of course, but if he can stay healthy, I think that's dope for them. And and again, like I said, with the Bucks, you now have Damian Lillard. So Giannis, like we say, we've seen this every time Giannis has complained or gave a hint about, hey, I don't like what's going on. They go out and they make a move, and so they went out and got Dame Lillard, and I think Dame has always been, a competitor. He's going to buy in. It may not be where he wanted to be, but they go compete, and I think I agree they're going to come out the East. I know it's way too early to be picking shit like this, but I think that's the team. The East is theirs to lose.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with you. Definitely was a spike trade, but it was the anti Brooklyn Nets, deal.
Yep.
The Brooklyn Nets, they catered to what Kevin Durant wanted. And they sent him, KD gave him a list, and they sent them to Phoenix. Even though they didn't, some would have said, well, honestly, I want Devin Booker back for him. Obviously that's not going to work, but um, I think Portland had every right to do that. I'm still, I need to go through the Chris Haynes piece. I'm trying to understand why they would be so petty with them. For somebody that was so loyal to them, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real, they ain't really, ever really put shit around him while he was there. You drafted CJ, and CJ McCollum's a great player, but obviously there's limitations there. That's not a star, you know what I'm saying? That's a complimentary player. CJ McCollum is a great number 4, on a championship contending team. At the end of the day, I think Dame should be happy because it could have been worse. They could have sent them, they could have sent
To
his
the
ass
Bulls.
to the Pacers, to the Bulls. They could have sent them anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah, but they sent them to go play with arguably a top 2 player in the league in Giannis. You know what I'm saying? And on the Giannis front, Giannis got what he wanted, and that's what you do when you are a multiple time MVP, a defensive player of the year, NBA champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make those balls calls and say, hey, listen, like, he saw what it was in Miami. He didn't have enough scoring, In the same way Jimmy is seeing that, down in Miami. Jimmy's like, yo, fuck, I need somebody that I can get, that I know can give me 40 alongside too. So I see where Miami is Miami's sick about it, but at the end of the day, it's Portland's right to send them where they want to. They don't necessarily need to do right by the player. The players that what they were doing right by is by the 2 young guys that they're heavily invested in going forward, and that's Shaden Sharp and Scoot Henderson. That's who they wanted to do right by. The moment that they drafted Scoot Henderson, and the moment that they said Shaden Sharp is off limits at any trade talks, you knew the direction they were going. They want to build
Yep.
around those 2 young dynamic guards. So at the end of the day, Portland did what's best for them. They'll flip Giroux. I got people that work within the Miami Heat, and I could tell you firsthand they were pissed. They were pissed the fuck off, and
Sources,
uh,
Mikey.
you know what I'm saying? I got feet on the ground, but they're pissed, and do not expect any Jrue Holiday to the Miami Heat. Trades coming anytime soon. They really do not fuck with Portland right now, and they got a bad taste in their mouth. So, um, I like that trade. And Giroux is a great player, but obviously when you have Giroux Holiday and you got Dame Lillard, like there's no comparison. And they won with Giroux, so as long as Portland does right by him and sends him off, I think it was good. And just the Phoenix Suns, they're playing the background in this, but they went ahead and they got some much needed depth that they gave away in the KD trade. So I guess it worked out for everybody.
Yeah, I'll say this before we move on to the local hour. I kind of feel like it was a slap in the face to Dame from the article that I read from Chris Haynes. He told the Blazers, well, if you can't get the Miami deal done, I'd just rather stay here. And like, I feel like now I'm not 100% mad at the Blazers because at the same time, it kind of feel like somebody said they want to leave you, and they're like, I see ain't really if I don't go do this, I'm gonna just come back, and it's kind of feel like your fallback plan. But I feel like there at least should have been a conversation with a guy who was giving you so much to this organization in the decade that he's been there. I feel like there should have been some type of conversation there, but that's just the nature of the business. Like you said, Mikey, they could have did him a lot worse. They could have sent that nigga to Indiana.
They could have
Could have
sent
sent
them
that nigga to
anywhere. They could
Detroit.
have, yeah.
You know what I'm
At the end
saying?
of the day, they sent them to a franchise that within the last 5 years has won a ring and they're consistently there. So
Yeah.
that's what at the end of the day, publicly, obviously, you got your people that you hear stuff from, and we all get stuff from. But at the end of the day, he said he wanted to compete, for a championship. So they sent them to a top 2 spot in the East. So.
Yeah.
And who knows? This is their window. We got to see if Giannis signs that extension or not. I think Dame got this year and next year, and then Giannis got until the 2025 season, and you go from there.
Yeah. And streets are telling me there will be a Joe Cronin diss song coming out soon. So pay attention to that, man. So that concludes our NBA coverage for a couple weeks on this show, man. We're going to start the local hour here on this particular show, as we can see that we got the local hour graphic pulling up here real quick. As we're gonna talk about, unfortunately, Chicago sports here, man. We're gonna get into a little bit of Bears. We're gonna talk about everything going on with the Cubs choke right now. And then we're gonna go into this Bears Broncos game, the game that Jason Goff called the game to test how much you really love football, and the game that I'm calling the Huffball. So we're gonna start off with the sad state of affairs of Chicago sports, where it feels like everything is terrible right now. You got the Bears who are on the verge of this time next week. This could be an 0-5 football team. There's a very high chance that this time next week this will be an 0-5 football team. David Patolo in the comments says no Cubs slander. You must be new to the show. They're everybody on this show hates the Cubs more than the devil itself, maybe. So there will be Cubs slander on this show. The Cubs coming off a terrible month, just got swept by the Atlanta Braves. Now they're going to Milwaukee to try to save their season. And it's really, I feel like they kind of, now, Mikey, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like they got to sweep these niggas because.
Yeah, they do.
They gotta sweep them, and they need the Marlins to drop some games. And,
the Marlins own the tiebreaker.
The Cubs are no longer in control of their destiny. They pissed that away when they got swept by the Rockies. They got they lost the series to the Pirates. They got swept by the Diamondbacks. They fucked that up because about 2.5 weeks ago this time they had a 4-game cushion in the wild card. And now now they ain't playing the back.
And there's a lot of ways you go from. Of course, we're Cub haters, but David Ross has been getting away with murder for a long time. This bullpen is not good, and we all know you can't win big games, especially playoff style games, with a bad bullpen. And I just really real like this team this roster has reached its limit. Like they won a lot of games with someone that they weren't supposed to win because they were on the offensive hot streak. And that's really when it comes to when the air gets crisp and the leaves start to fall, and you start to pull out your Oktoberfest beer, that's when we really see the real teams form, and the Cubs are falling off dramatically. So you got that. You got Cub fans on the tailspin. I'm expecting the Bulls to not even be watchable by Dr. King Day. We're not even going to talk about the White Sox and everything they've been going on. I'm already tired of Chris Getz press conferences, and I've only seen one of them. We're not going to talk about them. The only hope right now is we want to be fake hockey fans again. With Connor Bedard, he had a nice preseason game-winning assist last night to help the Blackhawks win. He's the only hope this city has at the moment. So my question to y'all, before we go into the team everybody loves the most, is this the worst Chicago sports has ever been on? We just haven't recently biased.
No, it's pretty bad. We're at an all-time low right now. I think in terms of not just what's actually going on with these teams, but overall morale in the city. You know, for everybody, we all grew up there, and you know how it feels when you got a winner in the city. You see everybody with their gear on, and don't get me wrong, you still see it now. But now when we see each other, it's like a, hey, bro, you watching the game today? It's not that same joy. You know what I'm saying? And it's the reason I feel like right now it's at the lowest it's ever been is because we were so hyped for all these teams, especially even with the Cubs this year. Cub fans, you know, they came in with low expectations, but the team started to play well, and it's like, oh shit, we might do it. And now you are where you are now. With the White Sox, we built them up for years about this whole change the game shit, and then it just went did a complete 180, and they're just back to being one of the laughing stocks of the league. Bears were the same way. I said it several times. Like, this is one of those rebuilds where it felt like everything was going right. Like, everything we needed to happen was happening. Even with the fucking 4th down conversion by Houston to give us the number 1 pick in the draft. I'm like, okay, shit might be moving the right way. And then, you know, it went completely left. The Bulls are the Bulls. They are owned by the same man that owns the White Sox, so I don't expect shit from them. But, I mean, it's unfortunate because we had when Lonzo came in and they built that team around Zoe. When he was healthy, they were the number 1 team in the East. Like, not saying that they would have won a championship, but they would have been much better off than what we've seen lately. So I think in terms of everything and what we're looking for, and it's just the expectations around the city. Outside of the Blackhawks, we don't have much hope. So a lot of teams, everybody's, you know, in a real negative mindset, negative mentality. I know some Cub fans are holding on to hope, but that shit is dead. So
It's over.
It's just one of those things where here we are back at square one again, where it's like, what are we gonna do? You know, with every team in the city.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you 100%. And we're looking at it's fucked up, but we're looking at the main franchises in the city. We're possibly looking at another firing cycle and another draft of a quarterback for the Bears. We're looking at now, you know, all 3 of us are White Sox fans. We sat through, you know, 5 years of them being asked for them to rebuild it just to make it to, you know, a wild card series, and then, you know, a divisional series against the Astros to get smacked, and now we're already, you know, rebuilding that. So you got 2 rebuilds there. But, you know, and the Bears this is really year 1 of the rebuild. Last year was the tear down. So we're, as we can see every Sunday, we're not out of the rebuild phase for the Bears. So we're stuck there. Then you go into the Cubs, and, you know, the Cubs right now, the Cubs have to me, they have the brightest future just because they have an owner that spends, and they have an owner that'll spend in a division that doesn't spend. So they're close. I'm really interested to see what they do with Cody Bellinger. I personally don't think that he resigns. So I think the Cubs are gonna have to, you know, try to get their big, you know, free agent acquisition or their big player acquisition via a trade this winter. But, you know, the Cubs are the closest because they, you know, yeah, their shit is, they're fried. They're not making the playoffs. They're fried. This weekend is fried. I actually have them losing today. Like, they're done. They look defeated. So then you go to the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks probably have the brightest star in Chicago. I would say him and Luis Robert, Connor Bedard and Luis Robert, those are probably the 2 best players in the city of Chicago. But the Blackhawks are going to take time too, but they have something to hang their hat on. When you get, Connor Bedard is one of them ones, you know what I'm saying? When you're able to land somebody like a Sidney Crosby, like a Connor McDavid, when you're able to get that guy, you know what I'm saying, then eventually, the success is going to come, and it's not going to take too long. I'm not really a hockey guy, but as I was watching yesterday just to check him out, and he looks like he belongs. Like, he's 18 years old, 19 years old, and he already looks like he's the most dangerous player on the ice. So it's fucked up. It's not recency bias. This is bad. Everything is negativity. We were hanging our hats on on the Bears and Justin Fields, and it's November 29th, and for all intents and purposes, like, if we lose this Sunday, that's it. That's a wrap. We lose this Sunday, we've lost. We're what is that? 14 in a row, Scott.
Yeah, 14.
14 in a row. A loss right there, 14 in a row. You could take an L on Justin Fields. That's going to be a loss, something that we all got so excited for. This coaching staff, we're going to probably be talking about a new coaching staff. There's going to probably be conversations if you keep the GM. Like, I don't know how I got here so bad, but it's really bad. And the Bulls, like, as a White Sox fan, we already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna give you a little taste. They're gonna give you a Zach LaVine and a DeMar DeRozan and a Vooch, just to make it seem, like they're fake, they're fake trying, but we know the limitations there. We all have eyes, and we all know what the NBA is, and they're not really, we don't got a star. We don't have a
Yeah.
Giannis. We don't have a Dame. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for many years, I said that Jimmy Butler wasn't a star, and it's come back to bite me in the ass. But we don't even got that. You know what I'm saying? So it's bad, and it's depressing as fuck. Like, to be a Chicago sports fan right now, because there's no hope.
Yeah, man. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. With this city, and it stinks because we love our sports. Like I always say, Chicago is one of the best sports towns because it don't really matter what team you're talking about. We go hard, no matter what team it is. When we support, and even went to hot with hockey. Like, let's be real. The Bears are the kings of the city. When the Bulls are actually good, you can feel it. The Cubs, when they're good, the White Sox, they have probably like the smallest fan base out of the city. When the White Sox are good, you can still even feel it. But the Blackhawks, when doing that, we saw like a dynasty run. It was 9 years ago coming up that it ended. But just watching Patrick Kane, watching Jonathan Taves, Brent Seabrook, Duncan Keith, Joe Quenneville, like that was an era. Like, of course, you got the 90s Bulls, but far as success, like they're easily the second best run in Chicago sports. So it's kind of like, especially with all the bad PR they've had recently, where it's kind of like the second championship. Really, the whole dynasty run, it's got a little dirt on it with all the nasty things that's going on off the ice. But
Mhm.
I think it's kind of like what you said, Mikey. Like the thing you got to hang your hat on right now is a Connor Bedard. I'm not a big hockey guy, but I know enough to know that this guy's one of them ones. Like, even though it's a preseason game, he's very poised for a kid who's 18. You know what I'm saying? Like, when the Blackhawks won their first championship 13 years ago, this man was 5. Like, he was
Yeah.
5 years old. Like, that's how young he is. But he had a poise, and I feel like even when you're in a rebuild, if you have a superstar or a perennial or a superstar in the making, it makes it that much easier. Because, like, yeah, we might lose, but we go into the United Center to see Connor Bedard score a couple goals. You know what I'm saying? It'll be kind of like when the Bulls first got Derrick Rose. Yeah, we know these niggas is gonna lose, but D Rose is gonna do something crazy tonight. And that's where, even though the White Sox been god awful, there's been moments where, like, oh, Luis Robert is finally the guy who we thought he was gonna be, and now you just have to hope that the White Sox won't mess it up, even though we know they will. But just all across the board, depressing is the best word to use. It is depressing. There's nowhere to turn. It's like a dirty room. It's an extremely dirty room. There's clothes on the floor. Niggas done left the pieces out on a corner on a table. Niggas ain't throw their beer away. The Chicago sports has roaches. That's what it is right now. Chicago sports has roaches, and even though the Cubs, even the Cubs, even though they tripped, it's curtains. They're not making the playoffs. I thought this was a pretty good season for them. The fans had something to watch. Wrigley was back to being full. People were going to games, and I do believe that Jed Hoyer has a plan. We know the Ricketts are going to spend money, like you said, Mike, in a division where niggas don't spend money. So you have something to hang your head on for maybe something they can take and build this on. The White Sox have no future. I have nothing to say about that team. Like when I say I'm out on them, I'm out on them. And this is a team that won the World Series on my 17th birthday. I have a very emotional love for the White Sox, but I just can't do it anymore. It's the Bulls are so bad. It's like it's to the point where if they can just be watchable, like if it can be like a cold night in LA on like January and they're watchable, I'll take that. That's how bad it is. So there's really nothing to hang your hat on. We about to get into the Bears and and wrap this local hour up because I don't even know what to say with the Bears. Say about the Bears at this point. This time next week, I do believe there's a good 95% chance this team is going to be 0-5. So I think it's, in the words of Stephen A, it's bad. It's really, really bad. That's exactly what Chicago sports is right now, man. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. So let's move on to the beloved, unfortunately. Let's talk
To the
about the
beloved, right?
Bears. Let's talk about the Bears, the team that the woman that we wish would stop cheating on us, but she keeps cheating on us and we keep forgiving her. That is
And
what
she
the
keep
Chicago
bringing home
Bears.
some nasty ass diseases,
Yeah,
and the
right.
and you know what I'm saying, and this bitch is burning, and
When
you
we
know what
take
I'm
her back.
saying, and you go outside to throw out the garbage, and she in the car with your homeboy, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like she just all types of wrong.
All types wrong. Your friends telling you deserve better. What are you doing? That's the Bears, man. But we're getting ready for the Huff Bowl on Sunday. The 0-3 Denver Broncos, who gave up 70 American football points to the Miami Dolphins. What do y'all think now? I put out a clip from 7 Night the Howlers today where I said Kevin Warren need to come down in his bunk suit, and everybody was laughing because y'all know that nigga wears a bunk suit. Let's be real. That's definitely a William Bunk Moreland suit that Kevin Warren be wearing. I say he need to come down and fire somebody. I don't need to be talking or seeing Eberflus if they lose this game on Sunday. I don't care if it's a short week. What do y'all think of the realistic ramifications if and when the Bears lose this game on Sunday?
No, they are zero. Like they will have their jobs headed to Washington D.C. on Thursday. Now, if
Hmm.
you lose in D.C., then you may see something. But I think even with the whole tradition thing, where it's like, well, we don't fire people in the season, I think they wouldn't do it on a short week. I think they may turn over a new leaf and fire somebody this year. They definitely should, given the fact that with everything we've seen, Eberflus has the worst record of any Bears head coach, in his tenure. I think he's like 3 and
Yeah,
17, 3 and 18,
yeah,
or
Yeah,
some
that's
shit
god
like that.
awful.
yeah.
So
It's terrible.
he's been terrible. So it's not a thing where it's just been hit or miss. He's all misses. And now you're not developing the quarterback that we, like Jeff said, we've half-assed it as well. Because I think with polls, I was on the fence, but now it's clear as day that he's not in love with Justin Fields. That's not his guy. And as cliche as it is, but when guys get a job, if they didn't draft you, it's a chance. So they could get rid of you. So I think going into this game, well, yeah, this I don't know what else to
Nothing's
say.
gonna happen.
What can we really say? Like, as much as anytime we try to give a prediction and say, oh man, they finally gonna turn over a new leaf, do the right thing, that's not what happens. It's the same shit. So until we actually see it, they're gonna lose and then they're gonna head to Washington D.C. That's what's gonna happen. Then those are the realistic expectations.
Mikey, what you
Yeah,
feeling, bro?
I don't. I've been adamant about it in the group chat that I think if changes were to be made, it'll be after the Thursday night game. Um, and even then, like you got to look back at it last year in this Eberflus Pose regime. When did they go ahead and start changing the playbook to cater to Justin's strengths? It was after that, that mini bye. It was after the Thursday night game against the Commanders at the crib. So, I think they're going to use that as a little grace period to identify what they want to do. But they got to do something. I mean, this is a historically bad defense. If for nothing, I mean, we have a quarterback that cannot throw the fucking ball, right? And we're going up against a defense that is giving up like 387 rushing yards. If you cannot run the fucking ball on them, then we just not going to be able to run the ball all season. Like, and that's just where we're at. I don't even expect Justin. This isn't one of them games where I want Justin to have the Mitch Trubisky against, Tampa Bay Bucks 6 air TDs. Like, nah, I think we need to just, what get Justin confidence, just running the fuck out the ball. Run the ball. You know what I'm saying? Run the ball, run it into play action. But the Bears haven't shown they could do that under Luke Getsy, under Matt Eberflus, with Justin Fields. Like I just don't see, how they would make a change going into a short week. Because realistically, who do you trust? We don't even have a fucking defensive coordinator to promote. We're trying to fire the OC, like us as fans, watching it objectively, we want to fire the OC, right? So if we fire the OC, we can't promote the OC to be head coach if we fire Flus, because we don't have one. We can't fire the DC because Flus is now the DC. So what the fuck? You promoting Janoko, or you gonna give it to, the special teams coach Richard Hightower? I don't. It's a very, like slippery slope there. I, for one, Scott, you're there, 5-6 days out the week up in Hallis Hall. I think that the players are already tuned Flus out, and they're no longer buying in. And you could just kind of hear it. The messages are not the same. You got one guy going up to the podium talking about, focus, intensity, hits, and then you got, other people saying, we're a long time, we're a long ways away from getting to where we want to go, or talking about, you got a Jalen Johnson like, I'm tired of hearing that shit. I've been here and we just been losing ever since I've been here. So clearly that message isn't getting across. So I don't know what to expect but a bad game this week. And when in doubt, when we look at Bears Broncos, when in doubt, they got a Super Bowl winning head coach and they got a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I'm gonna lean on the experience on Denver to be like, all right, this is a get right game for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think I'm speechless with this thing at this point. Like I'm one of the multiple reasons that I'm happy about I'm going home next week is, one, I need a break, give my own space again. Number two, I need a break from the Bears. I need a break to not be at these arenas. You know what I'm saying? I understand now. Shout out my brother. My brother said when we were on the elevator, we were getting on the elevator, leaving. No, actually, we heading down to the interview room. No, actually, it was after the game. It was just me, my brother, and Adam Johns. And Adam Johns was like, "Nah, this ain't rock bottom." He's like, "It can always get worse. This is the Bears. It can always get worse." And then my brother was like, "I understand now why some media like were fans be saying y'all negative. Like, y'all been covering this team longer than us. We already fed up, and it's only been a couple of years." He said, "I'm finna be Flo's reader." That's what he said, like, from here on out. You know what I'm saying? And it wears on you, man. Like I was in Kansas City, like, yo, like, why am I here, bro? Like, first of all, and this is like a rich people problem. Shout out my man Merck on Summer Session said that these are 4-star problems I'm having. The Arrowhead Stadium staff is the worst staff in football that I've run into. I don't understand how you got 10 security guards and none of them niggas know what will call is. I don't get it. Like, what do they tell y'all in these pregame meetings? Like, this should be one of the first stuff. Like, media enters here, and I'm walking around, running around the stadium like I'm Carl Lewis in 100-degree weather around racist fans, because I saw I'm going on a tangent, but the Bears are trash, so I'm going on this tangent. I saw in the tailgate, the food smelled amazing because Kansas City's known for their barbecue. I saw 2 tailgate tents, nothing but hip hop music coming from. I'm talking about hardcore hip hop music, and I saw a Trump 2024 flag in one of them tents playing Meek Mill. And I saw a Confederate flag in the other tent playing Lil Jon. And that just really just kind of solidifies everything you know. They love black culture, but don't love black people. And so all this is going through my head. I finally get to the game, and this game is over. And in the first quarter. So if the only bright spot to me was I got to actually meet and talk to my favorite player, Patrick Mahomes. That was the only bright spot out of that game that I took from that whole entire trip, was I actually got to ask my favorite player a question and then be able to chop it up with him after the interview. So that's just pretty much where I'm at with it. I don't know what the score is going to be on Sunday. I'm not going to predict the score. I can see it going a multitude of ways. I can see the Bears starting off really, really well and having great offensive performance, and then the defense, as historically bad as it's been since Eberflus has been there, gives the draws up. I can see Russell Wilson coming out and looking like the Russell Wilson of old. I can completely see that. I do know that the Broncos going to put up points. And honestly, the Broncos haven't been bad scoring the football. Like, that has not been the issue. And Mikey, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. You said you don't need the 3 touchdown, whatever game. I need it because this defense is god awful. They let Mike White score score a couple touchdowns on them. So no, I need to see it. If Justin cannot put up points on this defense, there is no hope. There is no hope whatsoever. And I think two things can be true at once. There's a couple things that can be true at once with this football team. One, yes, I do not feel Justin is being coached right. I do believe if he was in another team, he would be playing a lot better. But at the same time, this man has been huff. He's been huff. He's been worked by Mitchell Trubisky by a wide range. Like, it's honestly not even close. Like you said, Mikey, in the group chat, he's pulled up Jamarcus Russell territory. It's been that bad. So if he can't put up points against defense, it's over, dog. It's a wrap. And I think they're gonna lose to Washington no matter what happens on Sunday. I think best case scenario is 1-4 by this time next week. I just think that's how it's gonna roll. But I said I wanted Kevin Warner to fire somebody. I don't think that's gonna happen. I do think that if they do go on 5, they'll buck tradition and get rid of somebody, even though that doesn't make me feel any type of comfort. Because yes, they'll let go of Matt Eberflus and we'll just have Luke Getsy coasting for the next 12 games. So to me, there's really no win here, man. But
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Kevin Warren has the authority to make that decision? Do you think he's empowered to make that decision? Kind of like how Jason Goff was saying, I just got here out, I don't know how much time I want to put in, invest in cleaning up everybody else's fucking mess. But Kevin Warren just entered into a fucking trap house, like you said, with there's blunt wrappings there's blunt guts on the floor, there's leftover, pizza boxes on the floor, and he's got to clean it up. But does he got the authority to go ahead and remodel that apartment, or does that still got to go up to Georgia, and are they still going to follow those traditions? Because we don't hear from him unless he's talking about the stadium. We don't hear from Buddy. So I felt like it was the perfect time to hear from him during the Allen Williams shit. So how bad does it have to get for him to come down and actually, you know what I'm saying, assert himself?
Well, well, of course, the Bears are weird. The Bears treat us like we're the CIA. The Bears don't tell us anything. In fact, they still really haven't addressed the whole Allen Williams situation. So from everything that I know, yes, he has full autonomy to do whatever he wants. He has full control over the football operations. This is something that was brought up in this press conference. So this is just what's being said. This is the Bears. All that could have changed. Maybe George still needs to give the okay. I don't know. But from what I know, everything that I understand, he has the authority to do what he wants. But I think the problem in this situation is we still don't know who's running the show. And Kevin Warren's been absent. We haven't heard from him. We ain't heard nothing from this dude. I've heard stuff from people I know and in other media spaces in Chicago about how he feels about the situation. We have not seen this nigga. I have not seen Kevin Warren since training camp. So I can't tell you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going off what I know, and I think he does have that. But I don't know, man. I'm tired of talking about this football team every week. Honestly, I don't even have it in me to talk about rebuilds. If it was up to me, if it was in a perfect world, they would win decisively against Broncos, beat Cleveland. Beat Washington. Justin starts to look like he knows how to play the game football again.
They're entering quote unquote a winnable stretch of games.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they haven't shown us anything on defense. Nothing. The only thing you can hang their hat on all phases is Cairo Santos is still kicking field goals. You know what I'm saying? He's still good through the uprights. But outside of that, they haven't given us any hope for us to say, oh yeah, they could, if they get this one, they could rattle some off, because they have a winnable stretch of games, we thought would be winnable, but they really do in this current situation. You got the Broncos, you got the Commanders, you got the Vikings, and then you got the Raiders. Those are all very winnable games, but they haven't shown anything that would lead you to believe that they're capable of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. And it's a dark time. I told Jason Goff, like I said on Twitter, I even told my mama this last night. I have been a Bears fan my entire life. I have seen so many bad teams, but this is the worst. And I feel like we're really not going to get the answers or clarity we want until the season's over. And considering the season just started, that's a long way for Bears fans, because we could sit up here and talk about, if they lose on Sunday, they're going to have officially a 50% chance to land the number 1 pick because of their situation and because of Carolina's situation. They might have an amazing chance to not only Caleb Williams, but you can also get Super Marv. That's an amazing two guys to get to kind of, restart everything. But if you don't have the proper infrastructure in place, those are just going to be two more victims in a long list of Bears offensive graveyards. Like, there's so much stuff that needs to change for me to believe this is going anywhere. And even if, let's just say, and I believe Ryan Poles needs to go too. I don't think he will, but I think he needs to go as well. Let's just say that everything gets, let's say we get what we want, right? Let's say Kevin Warren comes down in that bunk suit, goes scorched earth, and by the end of the season, everybody's gone. Poles all the way down, and he brings all his guys in. Until I actually go a year and a half with seeing productive results, I'm not getting excited again. I'm not doing that again because Caleb, as talented as he looks amazing. I mean, tomorrow, he's got Jay-Z's going to be there. Jay-Z's leaving his wife's tour to come see Caleb. You're going to see LeBron's going to be there.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's going to be there to see Caleb go up against Shedeur and the Colorado Buffaloes. It's going to be a sight to see. And I as negative as I've been, I get flashes of seeing a deep pass from Caleb Williams and Supermall. That'll be fun to watch. But until we get the infrastructure, it's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream right now as a Bears fan. And it's sad to say because as crazy as Bears fans are, we're obsessed with this team. And, we can get – I look at the 79th and Palace mentions every day. There's a lot of bad apples in there. But at the end of the day, even the most annoying fans are passionate. We love this football team. And this fan base doesn't deserve that, man. And I'm just kind of like, they have defeated me. I am a broken man. I am only going to these games for professional gain. That is the only reason I am doing this thing at this particular point. So once I saw Eddie Jackson with his phone on Wednesday, I was like, and I knew, my man ain't playing. Like you said, Mikey, this is going to be a career game for Cortland Sutton,
for Marvin Mims Jr., Jerry Jeudy. Yeah.
They finna get all that.
We're gonna see that patented Russell Wilson moon ball. Yeah,
man. You're gonna see a lot of Sierra in the press box. You're gonna see a lot of that. We're gonna see a lot of that on the timeline, man. I expect to be leaving Soldier Field once again with another loss, man. So unless Dante had anything else to say about this mess, we're gonna go to my Goofy Mog of the week. So that's all we got on that. So we're gonna go to my Goofy Mog of the week, man. I actually got a double Goofy Mog of the week, a 2-for-1. One, I'm gonna go with the Taylor Swift coverage by NFL Media. I'm not mad at the coverage from non-NFL outlets because, and I want to say this to my people. When I mean by my people, I mean my black people out here. Stop acting like Taylor Swift is a regular white girl. Okay, we got to stop that right now. Even though I am not a fan of her music, you can put a gun to my head right now and tell me name one, not even two, name one Taylor Swift song and you live. I'm going to be joining my nigga Pac. That's how much I do not know about her discography. Having said all of that, I know how big of a celebrity she is. I saw her up front center on Sunday. Her security looked like they wanted to throw me out of that arena like Jazz because I had my phone out. Trust me, I had my phone out because I was checking my text, not because I wanted to take a picture of this white woman. I could care less about her and Travis Kelce. I'm tired of the coverage from NFL outlets. What are we doing? It is week 4. We are the first quarter of the season over, and we got Adam Schefter, we got Ian Rappaport, we got Tom Pelissero, all these guys I respect. I even got a chance to meet Ian Rappaport during training camp this year. Why are y'all reporting what kind of wine Travis Kelce is ordering at one of the 2 restaurants that's even open at 10 p.m. in Kansas City? Like I don't need to know about all that. Like it's overload on the coverage from NFL outlets, and it's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. It's annoying. I don't want to hear about it no more. And the fact that we're gonna hear about this all on Sunday, it just annoys me. And I want NFL coverage to get back to NFL coverage. I want to hear about 2 amazing players, one Hall of Famer and Shannon Sharp, and one really, really great wide receiver in Ocho Cinco, spending 20 minutes talking about this. I don't want to hear this on Rich Eisen's show. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Pat McAfee. They're the only ones who actually make fun of this situation. Everybody else, y'all really be serious with the analysis, and it's got to stop. So that's my first Goofy Mog of the week, giving it to NFL Media with the coverage of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Is my esteemed guest host, my esteemed co-host Mikey brought up. You Cubs announcers getting mad at Ronald Acuna Jr. for the amazing feat that he accomplished just 2 nights ago. I think it was 40 home runs, 70. Mikey, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, 40 home runs, 70 stolen bases.
40 home runs, 70 stolen base. They gave this man a round of applause, gave him a moment, showed a little clip. And they're like, it's ruining the game. First of all, you niggas was going to lose anyway. Number two, this is stuff we have not seen. And not only that, you were on the road, bro. They can do whatever they want in their home arena. This is their star. This is their mega star. This is the guy who is going to lead them probably to their second world championship in like 3 years. He's able to do that. Well, Ronald Acuna Jr. has done amazing. My man Mookie made it a nice conversation for about 48 hours until Ronald came down and knocked down all the El Pollo Locos in Los Angeles and let niggas know what time it is. But they're out there crying about it. It's very boomer-like, and have some shame. I think we need to bring shame back. We need to bring shame back, not only for this, but just for a lot of stuff we saw in sports media this week with the Taylor Swift thing, where Rick Fox wanted to be Brittany Renner's body number 36, with Shannon Sharp even interviewing her in the first place. Like, it's just been have some shame. Shame 2024 is what I want to bring back. Bring shame back, because y'all are losing your minds, man. So that is my 2-for-1 Goofy Mug of the week, man. And that is all that we have got for y'all on this weekend edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. We will be back on Monday. I know Mikey won't be here on Monday, but me, Dante, Bang, Courtney, we'll be getting ready for some wild card previews, man. So we're going to have some baseball coverage coming up. My favorite postseason is MLB postseason because it's unpredictable. I think there's going to be another unpredictable thing because there's so many teams that even as great as the Braves are, and they're my personal pick, they've got some flaws too. I think we're going to have some good wild card matchups. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to recap week 4. We're going to preview Monday Night Football on Monday. There will be no show next Friday because I will be traveling from D.C. back to Los Angeles. So I'm going to be spending about 9 hours in the airports, which will be very, very fun. So there won't be no show next Friday. But after that, we'll be back to our 2-show-a-week schedule, man. Is there anything y'all want to say before we get up out of here?
Nah, just once again, thank y'all for tuning in, bro. Like I said, we'll be back with more heat. Playoffs are going to be really exciting, so I'm glad to see everything close up. Make sure you check me out on MLBbro.com, and we're going to keep getting to it.
Same. I echo them same sentiments. Major League Baseball playoffs there's nothing like it. And, if y'all want to get y'all, dip your feet wet this weekend, man, like you got some really good series like Courtney was saying. We got the Rangers and the Mariners. Rangers are trying to hold on to that AL West. The Mariners and the Astros are on their ass. The Astros are playing the Diamondbacks, and the Astros are basically fighting to get in. It's basically between the Mariners and the Astros to get that last wild card spot. You got the Diamondbacks trying to hold on to their wild card spot with the Marlins and the Cubs. You got the Cubs playing a tough series against the Brewers, who already clinched. Cubs basically need a sweep and some L's. And we got some fresh blood in this year's playoffs, man. We got the Orioles. Congrats on them for a 100-win series.
Oh yeah, big shout out to the O's.
100-win season.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the Rays again. We're gonna, just getting the Diamondbacks and having the Marlins and. This is fun times, man. So it's gonna be interesting because, like you said, the Braves are the best team in baseball, but they're not without their warts. So, lock in. If y'all don't watch baseball, this is the perfect time to get into baseball because everything counts. And stay tuned to me, man. My page, you can follow me at JR_Solito. I definitely will be posting some gambling picks, and I definitely will be talking shit about my gambling picks. So tap in.
He's still going to have his weekly parlay next week, even though we will not be on the air next Friday. Of course, the money don't stop. That's going to happen. October, man. October's my favorite month, obviously, because it's my birthday. So I'll be 35 in October. So I'm going to do my man, October's on tape. I only care about astrology when I'm talking to women. Let's be very clear. I don't care about that outside of when I'm not talking to women. But for that very purpose, Scorpio month. So I'm going to be doing some extreme LA stuff for my 35th birthday this year. So that's going to be fun. But this is the best sports month. You get college football, you get college basketballs coming back, the NFL's in full effect, the NBA is back, NHL's back, everything is on. And I personally, I'm not a Samuel Adams guy, but I love Oktoberfest beer. So I'll be drinking a lot of that in the month of October. So we're going to keep y'all rocking and rolling this month. We're going to get fully into it. I want to give a shout out to everybody who's watched the first month of the season of this show and put a lot of work into this show. We all put a lot of work into this show. Shout out to Dante. He's been an amazing producer, doing it down. Mikey, man, we got to give us. I told somebody the other day, you would not know that Mikey only did like 3 or 4 podcasts before he started the show. Mikey's been bodying it. So I just want to give credit to you, my man, for everything you've been doing. You've been killing it.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Great social media engagements. Courtney's been great. Bang's been great also. Bang is in Atlanta right now at Tyrese Gibson's house. So we know that he's going to have amazing stories. Not only he's going to tell the story that we can hear, not on the paywall on Monday. And then Tuesday on Summer Sessions, you're going to get the real deal about him at Roman Pierce's house, as I like to call Tyrese. So that's gonna be interesting to find out on Summer Sessions, man. So he'll be back on Monday. So you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarChairScott. Follow Dante at OctoberZone. Follow Mikey at Junior_Solito. You can follow Courtney at 1800 Call a Bro. Big shout out to Jason Goff for joining us today. Follow the Barbers Chat Network at Barbers Chat Net on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to the Patreon, man. Patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. We got a whole bunch of different tiers for y'all on there. If you want to hear everything we got, that's the all access. That's the $10 holler. If you just want your 79th and Hollis podcast, your on the field videos, your in locker room interviews, you can subscribe to the $5 79th and Hollis tier. If you just want to hear us 4 ignorant niggas, me, Merk, Bang, and Pav every Tuesday for Summer Sessions, subscribe to the Summer Sessions $5 tier, man. So we appreciate everybody who does that. We appreciate everybody who watches this on YouTube, on either the Barber's Chair, anybody who watches on HNB Media, which will be premiering on there right after this. So shout out to everybody at HNB Media. And shout out to everybody who ever retweeted a clip, posted a clip. We can't do none of this without y'all, man. So y'all enjoy y'all weekend. We gonna holler at y'all Monday. We up out of here.
Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line.